Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Had Powers of Hallow Bleach and Married Gabriel movie. Before we start, please go support GTKenny for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. An ancient Hallow who for unknown reasons lives hidden in the human world will be forced to act and reveal itself to the supernatural world. What will happen now that Issei's arrival will cause a great commotion? The hateful new teacher. First day of the week at Kyoto Academy, a brunette with a lost look was looking for the principal's office because of an old friend, he had to deal with a new problem. Director's office. Director, that's all, welcome Issei. Issei, well, if that's all, can I go? Director, Professor Ulquira was right about your attitude. Oh, by the way, he also left this for you, handing him a letter. Issei taking it, thank you. Knock knock knock. Director, go ahead. Director, excuse my intrusion, I've come to meet the new teacher. Issei just stared at the young woman who had entered the room. She had short, shoulder-length black hair and wore glasses. The brunette thought to himself, she seems like a know-it-all and a stickler for discipline. What? Director, it's perfect Issei, I'd like to introduce you to Sona, the student council president Sanasan. This is Issei, the new teacher. Issei Hayadu Issei bored look. Sona, with all due respect, Director, I don't think this man is qualified to teach the students serious. Issei, you have a bad impression of me, brat. Sona, that attitude and the disheveled way she dresses gives me a very good impression of what she's like, and don't call me a brat. Issei, you judge a book by its cover, didn't they teach you to respect your sensei? Director, come on, calm down, both of you, okay? Issei, tell me what I won't have to teach, Glassation, pointing at Sona. Sona, my name is Sona, annoyed. The chestnut-haired man approached until their noses touched. Issei, I'll call you whatever I like, okay, Glassation, smiling. Director, please try to get along, okay? Sona, it's okay. Director, well, Sanasan, could you guide the teacher to the classroom where he has to teach? Sona, no problem, looking at Issei, what are you waiting for? Come on. Issei, yeah, whatever you say. They both left the principal's office and headed to the classroom. The principal could only sigh and pray that the new teacher wouldn't earn the hatred of the entire academy. Once they both arrived at the classroom, they entered and all eyes were on them. Issei, well, I'm your new teacher of what? Looking at Sona. Sona, you don't even know that. How pathetic, sensei. Issei, how about you tell me what I'll teach you and save your tantrums for later. The entire classroom didn't know how to react to the conversation between the two. Sona, history. Issei, that's it, I'll be your history teacher. Right, I haven't introduced myself yet, yawning. Among all the students, there were two who didn't notice Issei, a redhead with blue eyes and a black-haired girl. Issei, I'm Hayadu Issei, I'm 20 years old. Things I don't think it's relevant to say that my hobbies, I have many hobbies. I guess that's all. The students were still processing that unusual presentation, and they barely knew the new sensei's name and age. Issei, well, since they haven't given me what I'm supposed to teach them yet. The chestnut tree took a piece of chalk and wrote on the blackboard. Free study. Issei, have fun and please don't make noise. I want to be able to take a nap, yawning. The chestnut-haired boy sat down and leaned his upper body back on the desk, determined to sleep. Still unable to understand the teacher, the entire class was very confused and irritated by his behavior. But the person who was extremely annoyed was a certain redhead, who abruptly stood up from her seat and walked over to the sleepy sensei. Rias, what Issei? Looking up, if you want to eat, you don't have to ask my permission. Rias, how can someone like you be our teacher? I demand an explanation. Issei, you can ask Lenteshin, she's sitting over there pointing at Sona. Sona, my name is Sona, annoyed. Akino, PFFF, Glassation, whispering and holding back laughter. Rias, don't you know who I am? Well, I shouldn't expect anything from someone like you. Issei, Rias Gremory, daughter of one of the owners of this academy, president of the Occult Research Club, and considered the most beautiful girl in the academy. She is also one of the two older sisters, Wanasamas of the academy. Rias, surprised and Issei, I've read each of your profiles since you'll be my students, and I've also discovered that I need to add conceited, vain, and superiority complex to your profile. Rias, I can't believe you're friends with Ulquira-sensei. Issei, so I guess I'll tell you about myself, scratching his head. Rias, yes, he did it, but it's nothing like what he told us. Issei, I'm sorry to break your expectations. Rias, those of the whole classroom. Issei, sighing, are you done? You interrupted my nap. The redhead, still annoyed, returned to her seat, waiting for the right moment to confront the new teacher. On the other hand, Issei remembered the letter that Ulquira had left him, and taking advantage of the fact that he was not doing anything, proceeded to read it. If you're reading this letter, it's because you accepted to teach at the academy. I'm really glad. Please don't be hard on my students and try to adapt. This as your chance to forget about her and start a new life, because sooner or later you'll have to take your place in Hugo Mundo. Goodbye. Tell my students I'll miss them and that they should put up with you. Ulquira. Issei, idiot, I'm trying to forget her and you keep reminding me of her. Besides, I'm not going back to Hugo Mundo. Whispering. Rias was still staring hatefully at the chestnut-tired man, who seemed to be reading something with a melancholic look, which caught her attention. Issei, well, I have a message from Ulquira for you. He says he'll miss you and that you should put up with me. Upon hearing this, the students felt a mixture of joy and resignation, knowing they would have such a strange sensei. It wasn't long before the bell rang for recess. Issei, well, it was a pleasure. See you in the next class. Leaving. The chestnut-tired boy left the classroom, heading towards the dining room. He noticed that a certain student was following him. Judging by her height, he assumed she was a first-year student. Ordering a simple menu, he sat at an empty table, still feeling the presence of that person. Issei, sighing, could you stop doing that? You're not letting me eat in peace. The student came out of hiding and sat down in front of the teacher. She was a small, white-haired girl with an expressionless face. Issei, so what do you want? Eating? Are you a yaokai? Serious. Issei, what's that? Feigning confusion. Don't play dumb. Issei, your name, what is it? Why do you want to know that? Issei, I'd like to know the name of my interrogator. Kaneko, just Kaneko. Issei, so Nekachan, what is it you want? Kaneko, so if you're a yaokai you know I'm a hellcat. Issei, what are you talking about? I only used the last two syllables of your name. Kaneko, don't pretend. Besides, how did you know I was following you? I used an ability undetectable to humans. You gave yourself away from the start. Issei, mental note, don't be an idiot. Well, brat, that was very clever of you. What do you want? Kaneko, I want to know what you are. Issei, I'm not a yaokai. If that's all, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me have lunch in peace. Kaneko, I won't do it until you tell me who you are, or else I'll tell. Issei, you won't tell anyone, okay? Kaneko couldn't even answer. She felt a great pressure throughout her body. Fear took hold of her. The chestnut-tired man approached her, and holding her chin, their faces were very close. Issei, you won't say anything. You'll stop snooping around me. Remember that curiosity killed the cat. Kaneko. Issei, see you later, Nekachan. His first day had been awful. Now someone suspects him. The chestnut-tired boy headed to the back of the school. There was an old building, rather odd for such a prestigious academy. He took out a cigarette, lit it, and ventured inside. Issei, is anyone there? Then, if you'll excuse me entering the room. He was surprised to see that inside it was a very pleasant place with antique decorations. He continued walking, and there was a door where there was a desk. To the right, there were some armchairs with a small table in the middle, and on the other side, there were some individual armchairs. Issei, I'd venture to say that all of this isn't coming out of the academy's budget. Smiling. So where could it come from? The chestnut-tired man turned his gaze towards the source of the voice and found a dark-haired woman wearing a white robe with a low neckline and a very short skirt that highlighted her breasts and legs. Issei, well, I suppose it's a personal investment of some owner. Sitting down on the sofa. And what are you doing dressed like that? Akino. Akino, I just took a shower. Smiling. Issei, well then, I'll be going. Trying to get up. Akino, I can't let her go. Issei, magic a tusk, this day can't get any worse. Why can't I get up? Akino, who knows? Foo foo foo. The dark-haired woman sat on the chestnut-tired man's lap, their faces just centimeters away from touching. Issei, would you like it if you let me go? Akino, taking the cigarette away. I can't do that, you see. I'm a bit capricious. Smiling, when I want something, I'll get it no matter what. Issei, I suppose you want something from me. I'll play along. The dark-haired woman shook her head, only to say I love you as she unbuttoned her shirt. Issei, let's get straight to the point, will you? Akino, now that you mention it, if we have hex. Both were interrupted by the appearance of a redhead. Rias, Akino, could you call the... The redhead was speechless upon seeing the situation. Akino and the new sensei were... Issei, how are you? Tomatachan. Rias, what do you think you're doing? Minutes later. Rias, I can't believe he tried something with his student. Issei, wait, she tried something with me. It's very different. Akino, but you didn't refuse. Smiling. Issei, well, I'm off. See you later, Tomatachan. Rias, wait, Issei, Rias, I hate you. I really hate you. You're detestable and disgusting. Issei, I love you too, Tomatachan. After a few hours, the chestnut-tired man went to his student's classroom to deliver a statement from the principal. Upon arriving, she saw another sensei giving classes. Issei, may I entering the classroom? I'm still teaching annoyed. Issei, you are Rossweisse sensei, right? Ross, and you're the new sense. Issei, I just want to make a statement, don't be such a complainer. Ross, what did you call me? Issei, guys, you'll be going on a study trip or something. It'll be in Kyoto, so you need to come ready tomorrow because we're leaving first thing in the morning. Ross, don't ignore me. Pouting. Issei, looking at Ross, the other teachers were right. She really is very beautiful. Ross, what does he think he's saying? Issei, well, if I weren't so lazy, I'd try to seduce her. The entire classroom fell silent and stunned by the teacher's words, especially Rossweisse, who was very flushed and flustered. Issei, well, that's all. See you tomorrow, guys, leaving. Sona the surprised. The whole room, he's a womanizer. Hayadu residence. Sitting on his sofa while gazing out the window at the moonlight, the chestnut-tired man. Issei, a demon, a hellcat, and now a trip to the city of the Yaokai, sighing at this rate. Everyone will know about me. The chestnut-tired man took a mouthful of liquor from the bottle he held in his hand. Issei, you wretch, Ulquira, you had it all planned, but I don't intend to take the throne in Huko Mundo, not until she makes it clear why she betrayed me. Goodbye, false identity. Issei, stay back, I'll take care of it. I'm sorry, Issei, crying. Issei, what are you doing? I'm really sorry, stabbing Issei. Issei, why cough, why are you doing this to me? Blading. That's the right thing to do after all, you're just a disgusting hollow. Issei, but I loved you. Issei, another disgusting memory, standing up. How many times had she dreamed about that already, the most painful memory that haunts her daily life? Issei, great, I'm going to be late for the academy size. The chestnut-tired man took a shower, changed his clothes, and noticing that it was already very late, he had no option but to go out like a normal person. Issei Shunpo. He vanished in an instant, only to reappear at the back of the academy. I didn't notice that I was being watched by a group of people. After being scolded by Sona, they all went out to the bus that would take them to the station. Everyone boarded the train. The chestnut-tired man decided to take a nap, but a guy sat next to him and interrupted him. So you're the new teacher, smiling. Issei, and who are you? Someone saw you appear out of nowhere at the academy this morning. Issei, I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't want to have to kill anyone, but so tell me, what's a Shinigami doing in Kyoto? Issei, who are you? I am Azazel, it's a pleasure, Shinigami-san. Issei, you are the leader of the Fallens. Azazel, exactly, and tell me what you're doing here. We have an agreement with the Soul Society, so it's strange that we haven't heard from you. Issei, problematic. Azazel, although a Shinigami doesn't give off such a malevolent aura. Issei, I'm a hollow, so I'll save you the trouble of drawing conclusions. Azazel, a hollow in human form, could it be? Issei, you understand now, right? I'd appreciate it if you kept it a secret. Azazel, I would like you to accompany me to the meeting we will have with the Yauk. Issei, are you asking me for it or demanding it? Azazel, I'm asking you. Issei, then I'm not interested. Azazel, hahaha, well, I find it curious that a hollow of your caliber lives so peacefully in the human world. Issei, I do as I please, serious. Azazel, am I bothering you, raising his aura? Issei, you have no idea, raising his aura. Both of them kept raising their auras, but Azazel dissipated his so as not to attract attention, and Issei did too. Azazel, so you don't plan to get involved? Issei, it has nothing to do with me. Azazel, don't be so sure. The number of hollows has increased in Kyoto, and I fear that what happened to Yasaka has something to do with it. After that, the whole trip was peaceful, but Issei couldn't get what Azazel had said out of his head. From their arrival in Kyoto and their first encounter with Kaokao, the events unfold similarly to the anime, with the difference that Kaokao had hollows under his control. Issei, the Sekiryuutei, is with that group of demon boys. Azazel, do you plan to help them? Issei, don't get me wrong, you know I'm not doing this for them. Azazel, Kaokao isn't acting alone. The question is how or who gave him control over the hollows. Issei, so Sasuke is still playing God, huh? Azazel, Sasuke. Issei, an old acquaintance who enjoys toying with life and death. Azazel, someone I should be worried about. Issei, probably you and your group take care of Yasaka and I'll take care of Kaokao, okay? Azazel, you're interesting, then I'll see you later, leaving. As night fell, the Gremory group encountered Kaokao. Rokuro, Kaokao, I'm going to smash your face in. Kaokao, hello, Sekiryuutei, if we're all here we can start. A few meters to the right was Yasaka with some men. Kanu, mother, it's me, mother, but the Yaokai leader didn't answer. Kanu, what have you done to my mother? Kaokao, she will be part of a small experiment striking his true Longinus against the ground. The Yaokai leader began to transform into a large nine-tailed fox. Everyone was surprised. From the shadows, many hollows began to appear and attack Rias and the others. Kaokao, is that all, Rokuro? You're disappointing for a Sekiryuutei. Rokuro, shut your mouth, you idiot. Kaokao had the great advantage that the Sekiryuutei was very easy to provoke, but Sun Wukong arrived to help. Even so, they couldn't handle all the hollows surrounding them. One of the hollows grabbed Kunu by the neck and began to strangle her. Sun Wukong, let her go, Kaokao, she's just a child. Kaokao, so what, let's keep having fun. Getsuga Tensho. A crescent-shaped burst of power struck Kaokao, who barely had time to react and defend himself. Everyone turned their gaze towards the attacker. He was wearing sneakers and dark pants and a hooded jacket. He was wearing a mask. And in his right hand he carried a white sword. In an instant he disappeared and cut the hollow that attacked Kunu in half. Kunu, Yuhu, Kaokao, do we have another guest? Issei, well, Kaokao, will you tell me where Aizen is? Kaokao, how do you know about him? Serious. Issei, are you going to answer? Kaokao, make me smiling. Issei, I'll do that. Jean, take this. Jean launched her blacksmith at Issei, but using her left hand she destroyed the attack as if it were made of paper. The chestnut-attired man appeared in front of Jean and kicked her in the abdomen, knocking her unconscious. Siegfried tried to attack Issei from behind with his swords, but the brown-haired boy dodged. Their swords clashed, and although Siegfried possessed 6 and Issei only 1, Siegfried was falling to his knees. Issei touched the top of his head and simply said, Getsuga Tensho. A huge explosion engulfed the area. Akino, what power? Sun Wukong, a power that shouldn't exist, serious. When the dust settled, only a large crater remained where Issei stood and Siegfried lay unconscious. Heracles tried to hit Issei and succeeded. The brunette grabbed Heracles' arm and broke it. Issei, so tell me, is this enough for you? Kaokao. Kaokao, ha 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 ha, you don't have to hide your face anymore. Hayao Issei. Many of those present reacted upon hearing that name. The chestnut-attired man simply sighed and removed his mask. Rias Aizen said. Akino, ara, what a coincidence, fu, licking her lip. Rokuro, who the hell are you? Issei, did Aizen warn you about me? Kaokao, yes he did, but you're truly amazing, and to think you didn't even use 30% of your power, smiling. Issei, where is Sasuke? Kaokao, I don't know, he's contacting us. Issei, sent him a message for me. The chestnut tree let out a mighty roar into the sky, and all the hollows that were there fled in terror. Some stayed and approached the chestnut tree, then knelt before it. Issei, tell him to stop using my people for his nonsense, serious. Kaokao, will you let me go? Issei, don't make me regret it. Kaokao, well then see you Gremory group, see you Sekiryuutei. Kaokao and all his people disappeared in a red flash. Azazel, I knew you would be helpful. Issei, and why didn't you help? Azazel, I was enjoying the view. Issei, I expect at least a salary increase. Azazel, that can be fixed. After the battle and Yasaka's return to normal, everyone decided to talk about what had happened, especially about Issei. Yasaka, and what are you, looking at Issei? Issei, I'm just a substitute teacher. Sun Wukong, stop playing games, serious. Issei, you only get me into trouble, Azazel, sigh. Azazel, ha 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 ha, let me explain, he's a hollow, to be more precise, he's a vasto lord. Rias, what, Zenovia, that's impossible. Kaneko, vasto lord. Azazel, as you know, hollows can evolve. First there are the Menos, then the Jillian, Ajuches, and finally the vasto lord. Kiba, are there many? Sun Wukong, they are legendary figures and there are very few of them who are supposed to live deep within Huko Mundo. Issei, correct. Yasaka, so what are you doing in the human world? Issei, I just want to have a peaceful life. Azazel, you don't need to worry, in fact, I'd appreciate it if you dispersed that group of hollows. Issei, I'm sorry, I'd forgotten about them. The chestnut-attired man raised his arm and making a sign with his hand, the hollows stood up and disappeared. Yasaka, should I be on guard against you? Serious. Sun Wukong, there's no reason for Yasaka Dono to be on guard if she wanted to kill us. She would have done so already. Issei, I knew your mother, she was a good leader. Yasaka, how did you meet her? Issei, he helped me when I was in trouble, he offered me a place to stay in Kyoto but I had to refuse. Rias, are you really a hollow? Curious. Irina, if you're a hollow that means Ulquire Sensei. Issei, yes, he was the best of us, he made us believe that despite being war machines. We had humanity and kindness, melancholic smile. Ross, and where is he now? Issei, he renounced his powers and decided to live as a human with a woman. Rokuro, and you're not planning on leaving annoyed. Azazel, calm down, brats. Rokuro, don't tell me what to do, old mans. Issei, Sekiryuutei, it's been a while since I've spoken to a dragon, how have you been, D-Drake? The gauntlet activated and the gem began to glow. D-Drake, it's been a while, Issei. Rokuro, do you know this idiot? D-Drake, show some respect, you fool. He could kill you if he wanted and not even I could defend you. Yasaka, do they know each other? Issei, I knew him before he was sealed away in that, and I also knew some of its holders. Sun Wukong, we're on the topic, what will happen to you now? Azazel, if it's not against us then there's no problem, I suppose. Yasaka, so we'll hide its existence from the Soul Society. Sun Wukong, I guess that's okay. Issei, Tusk, they already know. In an instant, a large number of Shinigami appeared, surrounding Issei. Captain S, you'd better go back the way you came, you old hollow. The Shinigami captain pointed his Zanpakuto at Issei. Issei, you're all getting on my nerves, annoyed. Azazel, this is bad. The whole place began to shake, the weather began to change. His eyes changed color. All the courage the Shinigami possessed vanished, and an extreme fear gripped them as it did everyone else. Even so, a blonde girl approached Issei and hugged him. Please calm down, they won't hurt you. The chestnut-haired man calmed down instantly. For a moment he mistook that blonde hair and that way of speaking for that of a woman he longed to see again. Rias, Asia. Asia, I promise you, so calm down, smiling. Azazel, how curious. Issei, Azazel, see you later. The chestnut tree disappeared, leaving everyone confused, especially the Gremory group. Hayadu residence. Issei, there's no point in hiding anymore, holding up a photo, and I expect an explanation. The chestnut-haired man tore up the photo and burned it. He would no longer let the memory of her hurt him. Choose which girls will be in the harem. These 3 will definitely be included, but I want you to choose who will be the main character. Aquino, Graia, Kaneko. Suggest which girl I should add to the harem. D. Forgotten past extra. What is this? Where am I? What am I? These were the questions that arose in a newly emerging consciousness. We did it, we did it. Yes, it's perfect. Those people were looking at him, they seemed excited, some were recording, others were writing things down on sheets of paper, but one of them was different. He had a hole in his chest and didn't seem human. He started to approach. What is this, please? Exclaimed the one who had just been born. Hello, I'm Aroniro, your name is Blanco, you're an experiment born for created by Sasuke-sama, you're not supposed to have such an advanced consciousness, so I don't know how you woke up. Blanco, where are my hands, where is your head? Aroniro, we are hollows, we have different forms. Blanco, it feels strange, it feels bad. Aroniro, now I'm going to call Sasuke-sama. White Sasuke-sama, the memories implanted in Blanco began to flow. White Aizen. Aroniro, I can't move, what are you trying to? Blanco, we're just chatting, I was born to and fulfill Aizen's goals. Aroniro, you suffer a disturbance if you let me move. Blanco, I don't understand the mission, give me a second, concentrating. For a moment, a brief memory surfaced in his brain showing Aizen. Aizen, he is superior, his power will be terribly great. The memories kept flowing, showing him all the information in the world that Aizen collected and implanted in his brain. Blanco, this is too much, they don't want, oh no. Aroniro, you're too agitated if you let me call Sasuke-sama. Blanco, why do you call him Sama? Aroniro, I believe your intentions are hostile. Blanco, shh, I'm here to help. Blanco used his arms to pierce the other hollow. Aroniro, no, please wait. Even to murder him. Everyone watching was scared, but they still kept recording. Blanco was about to kill them, but applause was heard from one side. A man was slowly approaching. White, you are Aizen's. Aizen, welcome experiment 1 SSC1 or White. White, you are my creators. Aizen, yes, relax, I'm only here for you to fulfill your purpose. Blanco, and what will happen after he turns 18? Aizen, you have nothing to worry about, your destiny is perfect, but you still have to learn. From then on, Aizen, along with the other scientists, studied Blanco and taught him. Blanco quickly formed a sort of friendship with 2 hollows who were called Swords. Ulquira and Grimjow, they taught him to control his abilities. Time passed and Blanco mercilessly murdered anyone who stood in his way. Angels, fallen angels, demons, Shinigami, his power grew to such an extent that he earned many nicknames, but everyone called him by his original name. The news arrived quickly, the Maoists, along with their fallen leader and Michael, who was chosen by the biblical god for this mission, had to join forces with the other factions and the Soul Society to confront Aizen and his Hallow troops. The battle was terrible, both sides lost many soldiers. Blanco was on the verge of death. He had to face the leaders, but they weren't unscathed either. They had to admit that Blanco was very powerful, and if they hadn't united, he could have wiped them all out. Michael, Aizen is finished. Aizen, you don't understand the potential of my creation, ha 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 ha. Odin, he has already been defeated just like you. A kind of magic circle began to surround Blanco. The leaders tried to attack him, but the circle protected him. White Aizen, what are you doing? Aizen, you're not ready yet, you still need to evolve, smiling. The circle shone brightly and Blanco disappeared. Odin, what have you done? Aizen, I'm not ready either. Saying this, 4 Hallows surrounded Aizen and took him away. After this, victory was declared for the alliance between factions. Aizen was declared a war criminal wanted worldwide. Among the files they found was information on how Blanco was created. He possessed the power of every known race, and even his blood was the same as Samuel's. Blanco was declared dead due to his moribund state before disappearing. Unknown location forest. Blanco could be seen unconscious, but bandaged among some trees when he woke up. He quickly analyzed the situation and only saw an old man with orange hair looking. He quickly attacked, but it evaded him. He tried to attack again, but the result was the same. Old man, calm down, I don't intend to hurt you. Who do you think I am? White, you're a Shinigami. Old man, I was one a long time ago, now I'm just a simple human. Blanco, I have to kill you and return to Aizen's. Old man, you're still very weak, rest. Blanco, no, I have to fulfill my mission. Old man, I want to show you something. The old man took Blanco to a lake, where there was a woman. She was blonde, very beautiful, with eyes that could enchant anyone. White, who is she, old man? Old man, she's a friend, I want to introduce you to her. The young woman noticed their presence and approached, but she had a very cheerful look when she looked at Blanco. Old man, how are you, Angel-chan? Angel, great, I was bored, so thanks for stopping by. Blanco was very confused. Why wasn't she attacking him? Any Hallow would attack without hesitation, and it was always like that, but she just stared at him curiously. Old man, let me introduce you to a new friend. White friend. That word never existed in his mind, except for Ulquira and Grimja. Angel, hi, I'm Angel-chan, nice to meet you, cheerful. Blanco didn't know how to react. This woman wasn't afraid of him, didn't hate him, didn't attack him. Instead, she smiled at him kindly as if he were just anyone. Old man, hey, are you okay? Blanco, I am Blanco. Angel, is that your name? Blanco, yes, I also have another one. Old man, and what is it? Target, Experiment 1 SSE 1. Angel, oh, hey, you're a Hallow, I've never met one before. But I have heard of them, impressed and curious. Blanco was astonished. This woman, despite knowing what he was, didn't run. She just stared at him, very intrigued and curious. The old man just smiled and decided to leave them alone to talk. White, you're not afraid of me. Angel, why should I? Blanco, I am a Hallow, I have murdered many people. Angel, but did you do it because you wanted to? White, I don't know. Blanco had never considered that question because he was murdering. Angel, so you were doing it because you were ordered to? White, yes. Angel, so if you never killed of your own free will, I don't think I should be afraid of you. Smiling. He felt strange, that smile, it seemed odd to him, it made his chest ache. But he didn't dislike it. Curious, Blanco decided to stay for a while to learn more about this woman. But in the end, she decided to stay indefinitely. As time passed, Blanco continued to learn more about the woman. They had become very close. The old man instructed Blanco in the use of his power. The old man told Blanco his name, but Blanco kept calling him old. Blanco managed to unleash his human form, with which he and the woman went out into the city to learn more about people. Blanco discovered that he had fallen in love with the woman, but he still didn't understand that feeling. 4 years later, the old man died. Until the very end, he never stopped teaching Blanco. His last words to him were, "Being just is not about knowing when to take a life, but when to forgive it." They both buried the old man in the middle of the forest, and a tombstone that read, "Rest in peace, Kurosaki Ichigo." 2 weeks later. Angel, what do you mean? Why don't you use that name? Ichigo-san chose it for you. Blanco, okay, but only if you tell me your name. Angel, why? Blanco, I want to know more about you, much more about yous. Angel, blushing, okay, then I'll introduce myself again. The woman stood up and positioned herself in front of Blanco. Angel, my name is Gabriel, I'm an angel. It's a pleasure to meet you smiling. White, what a beautiful names. Gabriel, thank you so much blushing, now it's your turn, and use the name Ikaga-san chose. Blanco, I'm Hayadu Issei, I'm a Hallow. It's a pleasure and I hope we can get along very well. Smiling. They both smiled, gathered their things, and went to say goodbye at the old man's grave. So holding hands, they went out together without a destination, but happy to be together. These are the results of the harem vote. Main females: Graia, Harem, Yasaka, Kuroka, Akino, Serafal, Ophis, Kaneko. Mating a maid. After getting rid of the pieces of the photo, the chestnut-tired man lay down on his sofa hoping to fall asleep. Issei, I suppose it was very rude of me to leave like that. Don't worry, the Maoists are sorting things out. The chestnut-tired man turned to see who the voice belonged to and only found a silver-haired woman in a maid outfit staring at him. Issei, and can I ask who you are, and what are you doing in my house? I am a servant of the Gremory family. I was sent here to make you comfortable. Serious. Issei, I see, and your name. I'm not going to call you servant, besides, you don't look happy to be here. My name is Graia and I'm just doing my job. Issei, which indicates that you really dislike being here. Smiling. Graia, I'm glad to know you're aware of that. Issei, whom despite knowing what I'm capable of, you still stand up to me approaching. Graia, if he gets 1 centimeter closer to me, he's going to have a bad time. Issei, are you serious? Vomiting blood. In an instant, an ice stake that emerged from the ground was embedded in the chestnut tree's chest, protruding through its sword. Graia, I warned you. Annoyed. Issei, ha, I didn't know one of the roles of maids is to hurt their master pulling out the ice stake. The chestnut-tired man, unconcerned about the gaping, bleeding hole in his lower chest, began to laugh loudly, took a cigarette from the table, lit it, and proceeded to smoke it. Graia, you're not my master, you're just like a child I have to take care of. Issei decided to move back a little to avoid another stake, not because it hurt him, but simply so as not to make the maid uncomfortable. Issei, then I hope we can get along very well. Graia. He shakes her hand. Graia, I didn't give you the right to speak to me like that. Issei, what are you sighing so? What's your last name? Graia, Lucifuge. Graia, Lucifuge. Issei, alright, let's get along. Lucifu, surprised, are you a Lucifuge? Serious. Graia, how stupid are you? That's what I said. In an instant, the chestnut-tired man took the maid's right arm with his left hand and turned it to look at her palm. Graia, what do you think you're doing? Let go of me. Annoyed. Issei, be silent. Serious. The silver-haired girl was surprised. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. She also noticed that Issei had a very serious look on his face. The chestnut-tired man, using his right hand, placed his index finger on Graia's palm. Graia, what do you think? Strangely, Graia's palm began to glow and emanate a very peculiar white light that spread throughout her arm, frightening her. Graia, what have you done to me? Issei, I spent years looking for you only for you to show up at my house. Smiling. The light began to dim until it disappeared as if it had never been there. Issei, let me tell you a story. Graia, what? Issei, many years ago a Hallow encountered a pair of demons and fought them. They were very strong. In a moment of carelessness, one of them cast a very dangerous spell. Issei, but it worked. The demon managed to seal a large part of the Hallow's power inside him. The Hallow hoped the demon's body wouldn't be able to withstand it, and his power would return, but it didn't. Graia, listening attentively. Issei, both escaped, and since then that Hallow hasn't been able to access its full power. It hasn't even been able to return to its original form. Graia, and what does that have to do with what just happened? Issei, every so often the Hallow felt his power manifest, trying to return to him, but that man always managed to escape once he almost succeeded. Issei, he stood before him, and I could see the demon's right arm begin to glow an intense white. He instantly knew it was his power that had been taken from him. Graia, you're trying to say that? Issei, even so he escaped, and the last thing he knew was that the demon's surname was Lucifuge. Smiling. Graia, that's not possible. Issei, let me see if I'm wrong. Have you had dreams about things you've never experienced? Do you have the feeling that there's something inside you that's speaking to you? Graia, how come? Who are you? Issei, I should have guessed that your father passed the power to you, sealing it again. I know he told you about this. At that moment, Graia remembered the words her father had told her before leaving for the Great War. Now it is your duty to protect the power that resides within you. Do not let that being recover it, otherwise. both the supernatural and earthly worlds will be destroyed, thus Aizen will never achieve his goal. Graia, how do you know that? There weren't supposed to be any witnesses. It was supposed to be a secret from my parents and me. Issei, if there were no witnesses, how do you think I know? Graia, I don't understand, confused. Issei, hollows, whether in human form or not, always have a distinctive feature, a hole in their chest. As he said this, the chestnut-attired man took off the polo shirt he was wearing, revealing that he didn't have what he had just mentioned. Issei, who do you think your father stole that power from? The maid understood. Her gaze shifted to one of fear and astonishment. After all, she had dared to drive a large ice stake into the chest of the being that could only be defeated by the combined forces of all factions. Graia, you're that monster scared. Issei, I prefer the term experiment, smiling. Graia, you are the king of Huko Mundo. Issei, one of the many names I've had over time. Graia, what do you plan to do to me? Scared. Issei, well, nothing. Graia, what? Confused. Issei, I consider myself a good man, incapable of harming a woman. Besides, I don't even know what method your father used to seal my power inside you. Graia, aren't you supposed to want to regain your power? Issei, I don't want it. I feel good the way I am now. Graia, my father told me you killed for pleasure. Why would it be any different now? Serious. Issei, a long time ago I met a woman. She showed me the beauty of life and taught me to love it. Graia, where is that woman now? Issei, well, far away and happy after trying to kill me, and to think he succeeded. Melancholic smile. Graia, what? Issei, forget it. It's best if you leave. Sadly. The silver-haired girl felt a heavy pressure in her chest. She didn't understand why she felt sad. Slowly, she approached him and hugged him. She buried her head in the chestnut-attired boy's chest to hide her tears and her blush. Issei, what's this all about? Surprised. Graia, don't say anything. I just wanted to do it. The chestnut-attired man returned the hug while stroking her hair, and the words of a certain woman flashed through his mind. We can all love, even you. Smiling, at least promise me you'll try. Issei, after everything you did to me, maybe you're right. I should try again. Looking at Graia. In the end, the silver-haired girl fell asleep in the brunette's arms. He carried her to a room and laid her down to rest. Issei, damn, I have to go back to Kyoto tomorrow. Sighs, I left there like a child throwing a tantrum. The chestnut-attired man lay down on the sofa to sleep for a few hours, since his bed was being occupied by Graia. Next day, Kyoto. Rias and Sona's entourage were in one of Kyoto's parks, waiting for their beloved sensei. Rias, I can't believe it. How much longer is that stupid teacher going to take? Sona, I knew I wasn't fit to teach. Approaching slowly up the stairs, the chestnut-attired man arrived with his students. Issei, I'm so sorry I'm late. I had to help an old lady cross the street. Yawning. Sona, at least she has the creativity to come up with excuses. Issei, it's not an excuse. Glassation. Akino, what's the reason for your delay then? Smiling. Issei, a woman was at my house yesterday. Rias, do you mean Graia? Issei, if she. Rias, and what does that have to do with anything? Issei, well, she and I had a somewhat intimate conversation. Rias, intimate? You abused her. Issei, how did you come to that conclusion? Akino, ara, you're a bad boy. Smiling. Issei, don't smile like that, it gives me chills. Sona, I'll call the police. Taking out her cell phone. Issei, you won't taking the phone away because I didn't take advantage of her. Footsteps were heard, and when they turned around, they saw the leader of the fallen smiling. Azazel, how are you? How did you sleep? Issei, I had a bad night. Azazel, why should it be done? Akino, Graia abused her. Smiling. Azazel, you don't waste any time, do you? Issei, it's not funny. Sighs, so what happens now? Azazel, the students are at the hotel. For now, I'll take you to the Yokai leader. She wants to talk to you. Issei, that's fine by me. Azazel, the boys will accompany you, and I also have to bring some people you need to meet. After that, the chestnut-attired boy and the others headed towards the temple, where Yasaka was. They chatted for a while on the way. Issei, that's right. How have you been, Saji? It's been a while since we last spoke. Saji, hahaha, we already met yesterday and you didn't notice me. Issei, I'm sorry. For everyone else, it was surprising to learn that Saji and Issei knew each other. Sona, do you know each other? Saji, well, nervous. Issei, I've known him for a while now. Ulquira introduced us. Sona, I didn't know that. Serious. Saji, I didn't think it would be relevant, that's why I didn't tell him. Issei, by the way, are you still as good at chess as ever? Saji, shut up, very nervous. Sona, but Saji doesn't know how to play chess. Confused. Issei, you're wrong. Len session, he knows a lot. Who do you think taught Ulquira to play chess? Saji, shit scared. Sona, Saji, you told me you didn't know how to play chess. Annoyed. Saji, well, I only know a little. Issei, why are you so modest? I'd venture to say it's better than being a professional. Saji, could you shut your mouth? Issei, did I say something wrong? Rias, you just got him into trouble. Bake-sensei. Sona, I'm sorry Rias, but I have to go with my entourage. Very serious. Rias, if there's no problem. Sona and you, Saji, you'd better get ready to play, and I hope you mean it. Annoyed. Saji, see whatever Kaichu says. Scared. So Sona and her entourage took another route while the others continued heading towards the temple. Aquino, it seems Saji is in trouble. Smiling. Issei, was what I did really so bad? Rias, if any man ever beats Sona at chess, she'll marry him. Issei, are you serious? Kiba, you just condemned Saji to a marriage. Issei. Zenovia, poor guy. Asia, I will pray for the worrieds. Strangely, the Sekiryuutei and Kaneko were very serious and quiet, staring intently at the brunette, as if analyzing him. It didn't take long for them to reach their destination. Unknown locations. Kaokao, it was about time you showed up. Aizen, you look upset. Is it because of my son? Kaokao, annoyed. No, impressed, I'd say, but if it's because of your creation. Aizen, ha, you have nothing to worry about. Kaokao, well, you're wrong. He's on the side of the Alliance, and he no longer obeys your orders. Aizen, he is incomplete when the requirements are met. He will fulfill his destiny. Kaokao, do you really think so? Aizen, you have nothing to worry about. He's exactly where he needs to be. He doesn't know it. But as long as he's with them, it only brings him closer to his goal. Kaokao, serious. Aizen, soon he will be our ally and the best weapon in the world. Smiling. Surprises and more surprises. The guards allowed the boys and the chestnut-tired boy to enter. Once inside, the Gremory group moved away from the chestnut-tired boy, except for the Sekiryuutei. Issei, is something wrong? Rokuro, what are you plotting with Rias? Butchu? Annoyed. Issei, what? Wait, I see you think I want something with her. Rokuro, am I wrong? Issei, after all, dragons are very territorial with their women. The chestnut-tired man took a cell phone out of his pocket. Issei, you're wrong. I have no intentions with any of the girls in the occult research club. Rokuro, I see, surprised. Issei, but Aquino is causing me trouble and Kaneko keeps watching me. Rokuro, I can't help you with that. Issei, why? Rokuro, Aquino is very cute and all, but she's out of my league. Besides, it seems like she likes you a lot, and with Kaneko, well, it's the same. Issei, that's not very comforting. Rokuro, well, in any case, I apologize for my hostility. Issei, don't worry. Oh right, here he throws her a cell phone. Rokuro, and this. Issei, there are only 2 numbers on that phone. I trust you know when to use it. Rokuro, how will I know when the time is right? Issei, D-Drake will explain everything soon. You'd better hurry. Your mistress is looking for you. Rokuro, yes, see you later. Leaving. The chestnut-tired man continued on his way to the meeting room. He entered the room and sat on the floor. It didn't take long for Yasaka to appear, accompanied by a small black-haired girl with an empty gaze, dressed in black. Issei, usually I'm the one who's late. Smiling. Yasaka, I apologize for the delay, but I had to wait for my guest. The two sat down in front of Issei, who, for some reason, avoided looking at the little black-haired girl at all costs. Yasaka, let me introduce you to our guest. She is Ophis, also known as the Dragon of Infinity. For a moment, the chestnut-tired man's eyes met the dark-haired woman's, and he noticed how she smiled at him in a curious way. Issei, it's an honor. It's not every day you meet one of the dragon gods. Looking away. Ophis, the honor is mine, Mr. Liar. Issei, W what? Yasaka, the time you helped us against Kaokao, you said you were a Vasto Lord. Issei, because that's what I am. Yasaka, the Vasto Lord possess incredible power, but I've never heard of them releasing an aura very similar to that of a dragon. Issei, nervous. Ophis, yesterday I felt your power even from far away. Yasaka, so could you please be honest with us? Issei, Experiment 1 SSE 1 or white yawning, that's what I am. This took them both by surprise, but Ophis reacted first, and in the blink of an eye she was already in front of the brunette with a small sphere of power in her hand pointing towards him. Ophis, they said you were dead. Issei, well, I guess they were wrong. Ophis, the last time I saw you, you didn't look like this. Yasaka, do they know each other? Ophis, in one of his many massacres in the past while wandering between dimensions, I came across him surrounded by hundreds of corpses. He approached me as if analyzing me, but after a second he disappeared. You even made yourself feared among the dragons. Issei, could you stop pointing that at me? I don't think you want to start a fight. Smiling. Ophis, I doubt you can beat me right now. Smiling. The chestnut-tired man couldn't refute that in his current state he could barely stand up to an entire faction, and even though it might seem like a lot, it's not enough to face a dragon god. Issei, okay fine, I give up, raising his hands. Ophis, that's what I like to hear. Smiling. Without warning, the Infinity Dragon grabbed Issei by the collar of his shirt and kissed him very intensely. This took Yasaka by surprise. She was blushing furiously, but the brunette had seen it coming. As they separated, the infinity symbol appeared on Issei's neck. Ophis, now you're mine. Yasaka, what? Issei, dragons tend to mark their mates either with a kiss or in some other way. Yasaka, but aren't the couple supposed to be in agreement or deeply in love in order to be marked? Confused. Issei, that's correct, but that doesn't apply to us. Hollow's dragons can place their mark on us without our consent. Ophis, the only way they can remove it is by being stronger than the dragon who placed the mark. Smiling. Issei, and in my current state, I can't take it off. Little Ophis carefully sat down on the chestnut-tired man's lap. Issei, are you seriously going to torment me like this? Ophis, and we're just getting started. Smiling. The meeting was interrupted by a Yaokai soldier. Yasaka, is something wrong? Soldier, if they left us a letter for young Hyaudu. The blonde woman received the letter and the soldier left. Ophis, did you tell anyone you'd be here, my slave? Issei, the truth is no, only Azazel and the demon boys know. Yasaka, it has no name, handing her the letter. The chestnut tree opened it and began to read it. Hey Issei, it's been a while, I'm just passing through, so how about we chat? I'm in the park across from the temple, I'll wait for you. The chestnut tree didn't even have to think about the sender to know who the letter was from. Issei, Yasaka, alert your entire village, there's an intruder in Kyoto. Serious. Yasaka, okay, standing up. Issei, someday I'll see his face again, I'll go talk to him. If I don't come back in 10 minutes, he's probably dead. The chestnut-tired man stood up to leave, but a chain appeared around Issei's neck, extending all the way to Ophis's palm. Issei, I know you want to play, but this isn't the time. Serious. Ophis, I'll go with you. Issei, I'm serious. Ophis, me too. Smiling. So the chestnut-tired man walked hand in hand with Ophis towards the park. In it, there was a circular table with 3 chairs, one of which was being occupied by the one who sent the letter. They sat down quietly, trying to remain as calm as possible. How are you? How have you been? Issei, well, I'd say it was all right, but you had to bother me to ruin my day. Don't be so hard on me, I've missed you, you know. Issei, I don't think you came here just to talk, so what is it you want? Aren't you going to introduce me to your companion? Issei, irritated. Ophis, I don't think it's necessary. If you know he's in Kyoto, you'll surely hear about me. Well, I'm surprised to see Issei accompanied by such a powerful being as yourself. Issei, you're getting off topic. Annoyed. All right, well, I've come to check on your condition since they sealed most of your power within a demon. This surprised them both. The brunette because no one should know except Graia, and Ophis because she had no idea. Issei, you're a very annoying. Well, don't worry, I know you're okay, and that's good, but rest assured we'll see each other again. The man stood up and was leaving. Issei, I don't intend to be your toy again, let it be clear that I have my own path. Aizen. Aizen, your destiny is greater than you believe, your path is already marked, my son. Smiling. And so Aizen disappeared. Ophis barely understood what had just happened. Meanwhile, the chestnut-tired man had his head down, he was trembling, his hands were breaking the table. Ophis took his hand to calm him down, and it seemed to work. Ophis, we have to go back. Issei, I'm quickly serious. Upon their return, Yasaka awaited them with a worried expression. Yasaka, is everything all right? Issei, no, everything is very bad. Annoyed. Yasaka, scared. Issei, I need you to bring Graia Lucifuge here now. Serious. Ophis, don't worry, I'll go get her. The little black-haired girl glanced at Yasaka, who perfectly understood what she meant. After this, Ophis left. Yasaka, Hyaudu, could you accompany me? Issei, yeah, I guess so. They both began to walk slowly through the small gardens surrounding the temple. Yasaka invited him to sit down in front of the beautiful gardens. Yasaka, these gardens are very relaxing. Smiling. Issei, they really are. Calm down. Yasaka, I'd like to talk about something personal about you. The chestnut-tired man was surprised by this because during their first encounter, she had looked at him with annoyance. Yasaka, but you have to promise that you'll answer. Issei, after you showed me this beautiful place, you can be sure I will. Smiling. Yasaka, okay, so what's your relationship with Gabriel? The chestnut-tired man tensed. He didn't know how she knew about it, or had she just guessed. He didn't know, but he had already promised to answer. Issei, she was a special woman to me many centuries ago. She taught me to love and appreciate life. I fell in love with her, and she gave me the kiss of Judas, smiling. Yasaka surprised and Issei, she sold me out to the union of factions. She stabbed me in the back, and thinks I'm dead. She must be so proud of what she did in the name of her beloved father. Yasaka, you speak of the biblical God. Issei, yeah, that damn old man. It was nice watching him die, smiling. Yasaka, did you meet the biblical God? Surprised. Issei, yeah, putting that aside, well, since then I haven't thought about relating to anyone else in that way, or so I thought. Yasaka, I'm really glad you're trying to love again, smiling. The chestnut-tired man, upon seeing Yasaka's face, was captivated. He slowly approached her, which surprised Yaokai, who understood the reason for that approach. Yasaka, howdo. Issei, don't speak approaching. The chestnut-tired man began to caress Yasaka's cheek with his hand, which had already succumbed to his touch. Yasaka's tails began to swish from side to side, reacting to the chestnut's gentle touch. Yasaka, Issei, blushing. Yasaka's tails began to cling to Issei, caressing him. Issei, close your eyes very close. Without giving her time to react, the brunette was already kissing her, their eyes locked on each other, trying to devour one another. Not even the necessary need to breathe could separate them. Nothing mattered at that moment, or so it must have been. The chestnut-tired man pulled away from her and began to stroke her beautiful hair. Issei, take refuge, quickly standing up. This last part left Yasaka confused, but when she saw a kind of mouth open in the sky revealing two beings emerging from it, she understood. Issei, get all your people out of here. The swift blonde Yaokai retreated, and the brunette reappeared with great speed in the sky in front of the two who had just appeared. Issei, so what brings you here? Hallow 1, you know why we came here. You don't deserve the throne of Huko Mundo. Hallow 2, we will destroy it and take it for ourselves. This situation was bad, very bad. The chestnut-tired man didn't have to clash swords with them to know they were vasto lords of very high rank. Issei, damn, the moment I accepted your request, Ulquira smiling. From the chestnut tree emerged the white sword. His eyes changed. Issei, well, I won't deny it's more fun now, smiling. Let's see how far I can go with my current power. In a swift movement, the chestnut-tired man grabbed both hollows by the neck. Opening a portal, the three disappeared only to reappear in a very cozy place for them. Issei, if we're going to have a fight, what better place than Las Notches? The chestnut-tired man released the two and moved away to prepare himself. Hallow 1, not bad, but you've only made your situation worse. Hallow 2, we're not the only ones who want to destroy you. As if his words were fact, an insane number of hollows appeared, among them Gillians and Ajuches, and the occasional Vasto Lord. Hallow 1, what do you have that makes you want to beat us all, smiling? Issei, well, with this sword and my best effort, smiling. The chestnut brown skin began to lose its color and its aura increased greatly. Issei, all right, maximum effort. Attacking. Future plans. Hayadu residence. The silver-haired woman had been up for a long time. She was doing her duties as a maid, but she was very distracted by what had happened the night before. Graia, how could he do something like that? Blushing, but it didn't feel so bad. Focused on her own world, she didn't notice the presence of a small, dark-haired girl. Ophis Graia, confused. Hearing his name brought her back to reality. Graia, turning towards the voice. Upon noticing the presence and recognizing the person, she was surprised. Graia, oh Ophis. Ophis, I need you to come with me. The silver-haired woman was going to refuse, but something told her it was very important. She began to feel a great concern. Graia, okay. Huko Mundo. Explosions, corpses, bloodless notches had become a war zone between those who refused to let Issei be king against the aforementioned chestnut-tired man. Issei, panting tusk, it didn't have to be like this, The chestnut tree had multiple wounds all over its body, 7 spears stuck in its back, 2 in its right leg and 1 in its left. Hallow 1, you really are strong, but we won't let you rule us. The chestnut tree was sad. Every drop of blood of his kind hurt him, and it was made worse knowing it was his own hand that caused it. He was at his limit, 300 Jillian, 100 Ajuches, and 5 Vasto Lords. His body could barely stay upright. Every bone and muscle in his body was shattered. Hallow 2, you are not worthy to be king yet, smiling. Issei, what, confused? Hallow 1, it's still too early, you have to be complete. Hallow 2, even though we hate that our future leader is with them, it's necessary. The chestnut-tired man didn't understand much of what those two said, but he knew it wasn't anything good. Hallow 1, this will be our last attack. Prepare yourself. If you withstand it, we'll leave for now. All the Hallows gathered and began charging the zero. Issei, are you serious? Panting, do you think I'm a superhero who pulls strength out of thin air at the last minute? The chestnut-haired man had already prepared to die, but he still thought about them, especially about 5 women: Yasaka, Graia, Akino, Ophis, and Kaneko. Issei, I didn't get to say goodbye to them. Smiling. Just as the Hallows were about to unleash their attack, a roar echoed throughout Las Notches. This caused the Hallows to undo their attack and retreat, something that left the chestnut-haired man bewildered. Issei, so someone's making their moves behind the scenes. Smiling. The chestnut tree descended to the ground, forcing itself out of the knights using the technique known as throat. Kyoto. Ophis, how long ago did he leave? Yasaka, 20 minutes. It should be close by now. The silver-haired woman continued to feel that concern for the brunette's situation. Graia, maybe we should. The three turned their gaze towards the sky, where a kind of black mouth opened, letting out a chestnut-haired man who, using shumpo, moved to the ground where he fell without strength. The first to react was Graia, who approached and checked it. Graia, you're badly hurt. Worried? Issei, they're just scratches. Ophis, we have to start now. First, we'll take away your spears. Issei, please be gentle. Smiling. Ophis, I promise nothing. Drawing her spear. Issei, 5 hours later. Ophis, every muscle and bone in your body was destroyed. It's a miracle you're still alive. Issei, or a curse. Whispering. Graia, for now we've managed to heal the fatal wounds. We'll leave the rest to your regeneration. Issei, I was worried sick. Hadiha. Yasaka, it's not funny. You could have died. Total silence. Graia, you shouldn't make those kinds of jokes. Issei, wait, you saying that to me? I thought you hated me. Graia, I still hate you. Blushing. Ophis, I will not let my slave die. Issei, none of you are being honest. Yasaka, well, could you tell us what happened? Issei, Graia, have you told anyone about what's sealed inside you? Yasaka, sealed? Issei, a long time ago his father sealed most of my powers within him, and before he died he passed them on to Graia. Ophis, that's what Aizen meant. Yasaka, Aizen. Issei, Aizen Sausuk, the criminal wanted ever since. Graia, so Aizen knows about that. Issei, so now you're my top priority. Graia, huh. Blushing. Issei, will have to get you to safety since you're probably a vital part of their plan. Yasaka, then we must contact the faction leaders. Issei, I'll leave it to you guys. I'm going out for a breather. The chestnut-haired man left the place without a fixed destination, thinking about how his life had taken a complete turn in just 1 week. Issei, I need a cigarette. Size. You can't smoke here. Asania. The chestnut-haired man turned his gaze towards the source of the voice and saw a black-haired woman dressed in a dark yukata with cat ears and tail. Issei, this is unexpected. I knew someone was spying since this morning, but to think it was a hellcat. Smiling. My name is Kuroka. Smiling. Issei, so Kuroka, what are you doing here? Kuroka, I'd like to talk to you. You're interesting. Issei, with me? I don't think so. I suppose you're here for Kaneko, right? Kuroka, Naya, you've caught me. Hahaha. Issei, she's with her master and the others at a hotel near here. Kuroka, thank you, but I really want to know what the Hallow King is doing in Kyoto. Issei, I was once a king, now I'm just a substitute teacher. The Nekomata moved close enough so that they could both feel each other's breaths. Issei, what are you trying to do? Kuroka, I want to continue what you didn't finish with Yasaka. Issei, I'm going to ignore what you just said. Kuroka, why don't you dare? Issei, of course, but I bet if I start you'll stop me. Smiling. The Nekomata kissed Issei without warning, and when she pulled away she whispered in his ear, take me. The next day. Rias, this is unheard of. Bakke-sensei was supposed to tell us something important and he hasn't even shown up. Rokuro, maybe he had some kind of problem. Smiling. Akino, what if we go look for him? They all nodded and left for the temple where the chestnut-haired boy was staying. They entered and the temple residents told them where Issei's room was. Before entering, Kaneko had a serious look. Rias, is something wrong? Kaneko, my sister is nearby. Rias, I see that strange. Rokuro, wait, Kuroka's presence in Issei's room, maybe we should knock on the door, right? Akino, we've waited long enough, don't you think? Rokuro, don't say I didn't try. Azazel, what are you doing standing there? Kiba, we've come to find Issei. Rokuro's good. Azazel will kick us out of here before we even go in. Azazel, so what are we waiting for? Rokuro, I guess it's fate. Sighing. Upon opening the door and entering, they were stunned to see Kaneko's aforementioned sister asleep in bed, covered only by a sheet. And just then the chestnut-haired man came out of the bathroom, shirtless. Zenovia, I see that's how babies are made. Asia Rokyurasan don't look at Kaniko's sister, covering her eyes. Kiba, it seems we interrupted something. Azazel took out his cell phone and took a picture of the scene. Akino, Ara, it seems someone had a restless night. Issei, I can't explain. Rias, you pervert, Huko Mundo. Hollow one, that's all I have to report, Aizen-sama. Aizen, well, very well, let's let him believe that I can't do anything for now. Should I start right away, Dad? Aizen, I suppose so. You remember what your mission is, right? Yes, bring my brother here so my father can tell him the truth. Aizen, that's right, my son. While Rizvim continues trying to unleash the beast of the apocalypse, we will make your brother stronger. Father, do you really think that brother can defeat the beast of the apocalypse? Aizen, he can, but he has to regain his power and feel all human emotions. Human emotions. Aizen, yes, he already understood many of them, but one is missing. And what is it? Aizen, don't worry about that, the Seraph will do that job for us. I see. Father plans to take advantage of the relationship that her brother and she had so that everything turns out as he wants. Aizen, the pieces are in place, now all that's needed is a push. Smiling. Trouble is coming. Unknown location, I just wanted to ask you a question. Barraquil, cough, so you attack first and ask questions later. Cough, you attacked me first, that's what humans call self-defense, right? Barraquil, wretch, hey, I'm looking for my brother, do you know where he is? Barraquil, your brother, how could I know him, if you know him? Barraquil, what, if you know Shirney, although you gave her a different name, thoughtful. Barraquil, another name. Yes, you called him the White One. Kyoseti. After the peaceful trip to Kyoto, the students had been given a few days off. Only the teachers remained at the academy preparing their future classes. Issei, I'm supposed to be a substitute teacher, shouldn't I be enjoying my days off? Akino, fufufu, that's a shame, don't you think? Smiling. Issei, saying it with a smile doesn't comfort me, Akino. Ross, it's his duty as a teacher, he must follow the example and finish his assignments. Smiling proudly. Issei, sounds like an excuse to forget you're still single. As if Rossweisse had been crushed by a building, she fell to the ground completely defeated. Rokuro, I think you went a little too far. Issei, really? But she still has a chance, she's young and beautiful. Akino, are you trying to seduce Ross again? Issei, I'm no good at that kind of thing. During all that time, a small white-haired girl was sitting on his lap, who had been very attached to Issei since they returned from Kyoto. Issei, Nekachin, could you let me get up? The Nekomata quickly shook her head, leaning more against the chestnut-tired man's chest. Issei, at least I could know why you're doing this. Kaniko, you slept with my sister. Total silence. Issei, well, wait, what does that have to do with anything? Kaniko's face remained expressionless but with an extreme blush. The chestnut-tired man knew why but decided to ignore it. He didn't want to end up in jail, at least not yet. Issei, a drink wouldn't hurt, pulling out a bottle of liquor, want one? Catching his breath, Ross quickly stood up to scold the brunette. Ross, how can you drink that? You're a teacher and I doubt you're even of legal drinking age. Angry. Issei, people tend to think I'm very young, but I'm over 10,000 years old. Smiling. Ross pouting. Kiba, I don't think it's right that you're offering us liquor when we're students. Issei, nice words for someone who drools when looking at the bottle. Kiba, well, embarrassed. The only ones who enjoyed the drink were Akino, Zenovia, and Ross, to whom Issei tried to give little for fear that she would cause a commotion like she did in Kyoto. After finishing his drinks, the chestnut-tired boy left with a Nekomata sleeping on his back and a completely drunk teacher. Ross, Buckier, stupid hiff, mence, Issei, it seems you're forgetting you're walking with one. Ross, SSHHHH, Kashati hiff, don't bother me. Issei, yes, sighing. They didn't take long to arrive at the chestnut-tired man's home, where he left Kaniko resting in a room, while he stayed with Ross in the living room, who continued insulting all the men in the world. Issei, come on, Ross-sensei, someday you'll find your Prince Charming. Smiling. The Valkyrie, completely ignoring the chestnut-tired man's comment, continued with her monologue about why men are the worst thing in the world. The chestnut-tired man took a cigarette from his nightstand and lit it, slowly smoking it. Issei, wait, a drunk woman and a little girl in my house late at night. Finally understanding the mistake he had made, he could only resign himself to it. Issei, damn, I just hope no neighbors saw me. The chestnut-tired man let out a long sigh, realizing that the day couldn't end worse. Ross, hey. The Valkyrie clasped her hands near the chestnut-tired man's mouth as if she were trying to catch something. Ross, they say hihu, when you sigh you lose a little of your happiness, hihu, hehe. Rossweisse, who seemed to have recovered most of her sanity, smiled at the chestnut-tired man. Issei, well then, I'll give you the little bit you just caught. Ross, hey, I hadn't noticed, but hey. You're really attractive. Issei, hey, if you say things like that, I might end up falling in love with you. Smiling. Ross, what if we do dirty things? The chestnut-tired man remained silent, hoping it was a joke by Ross, who was still under the influence of alcohol. Ross, what if we do dirty things? Issei, did I tell you to repeat it? Ross, you didn't answer me. Issei, I'm sorry, but no, taking advantage of a drunk woman isn't my thing. Ross, I'm not drunk. Issei, that's what everyone says when they're drunk. Ross, let's go to the room now. Issei, hey, at least invite me to dinner first, right? The chestnut-tired man began to laugh at his own comment, not noticing how the Valkyrie grabbed his shoulders, and with impressive speed they were already in the room. Ross, get undressed now. Like a dictator, she ordered the brunette to remove his clothes while seductively approaching him, and before their lips touched, Ross fell asleep. Issei, I suppose it's a divine sign, smiling. Leaving the room, the chestnut-tired man encountered Graia, who was sitting at the table drinking a cup of coffee, and Ophis also sitting with a very smiley face. Issei, I have to go out, nervous. Before he could even approach the door, a chain appeared around his neck, preventing him from moving. Ophis, where do you think you're going, my slave? Smiling. Issei, to restock my refrigerator. Graia, don't worry, I already did it for you. Now why don't you explain how you were caught fooling around with Kaniko's older sister? Ophis, we have much to discuss, my slave, smiling. At that moment, Issei felt true fear of the underworld. While the leaders were holding a meeting, the topic of the chestnut tree's appearance came up due to what had recently happened in Kyoto. Sirzech, so what about Azazel? Is he really trustworthy? Azazel, he's a simple guy and I doubt he'll attack us. That doesn't change the fact that he's very strong. Michael, and what does the Soul Society think about this? Azazel, well, they don't completely agree, but they say the Vasto Lord are a mystery since very little is known about them, so knowing that we can send them information about one of them keeps them calm, I suppose. Sirzech, a vast lord on our side, not to speak of him as a weapon, but he would be a great addition to our alliance. Michael, furthermore, the fact that he managed to make Kaokao retreat effortlessly is commendable. Azazel, well, he really did it because he was using his people, I'd say. Sirzech, in any case, what did you say his name was? Azazel, how do Issei, that's his name. Sirzech, I really thought it would be a more extravagant name, but it's normal, smiling. The only one who was somewhat surprised was Michael, who was taken aback upon hearing the name of the Hallow. Michael, is that name, is it even possible? The Archangel seemed to be praying that what had gone through his head was a lie, but a Hallow that had the same name as that being it was too much of a coincidence. Azazel, is something wrong, Michael? Michael, no, it's nothing. Sirzech, well, we owe him that much anyway. Azazel, the truth is yes. Michael, well then it wouldn't be bad to meet him, right? Sirzech, you're right. Azazel, yes, that wouldn't be bad. The Archangel, who had a hidden motive for meeting the chestnut-tired man, tried to remain calm, as there was a possibility that this Vasto Lord was the being that had been defeated so long ago. Kyoto City. After the chestnut-tired boy was abused both physically and mentally, and probably sexually, by the maid and the Infinity Dragon, he managed to escape and take a breather in the city. Issei, women are truly terrifying. The chestnut-tired man carried a bag full of sweets in his left hand for a certain Nekomata, trying to get rid of her. For a moment, the chestnut-tired man looked up at the sky and managed to spot a small, strange blue hole. He noticed an object fall through it and it quickly closed. The chestnut-tired man moved a few steps to the right as he watched the object fall and hit the ground a few centimeters away from him. He was confused when he realized the object was stuck in the ground and was a very large screw. Issei, wow, I didn't know it rained large screws in this city, what a strange city. The chestnut tree continued on its way, as it was very tired. The next day, the chestnut-tired man got up early to avoid any scolding from the maid, and to be able to have a peaceful breakfast. But it was interrupted by the appearance of a certain fallen angel and the Gremory group in her home. Issei, so early and they're already bothering us. Azazel, come on, it's something important I have to tell you about. Issei, then just say it already, yawning. Azazel, well, the Maoists want to meet you, and the Sky Leader does too, so we'll have a meeting at the academy tonight. Rias and the others will accompany you all day until the meeting. Issei, oh crap, this is bad, I understand. Azazel, well then I'll take my leave. Issei, you look rushed. Azazel, yes, one of my men was attacked and I need to speak with him. Issei, he seems serious, what's his name? Azazel, Baraquil is one of my best men, so I have to see how he is. Issei, oh, I understand. The mention of that man caused a certain dark-haired woman to give a look that was both worried and angry, something that did not go unnoticed by the chestnut-tired man. Issei, then I'll see you tonight. Azazel, yes, until then. The fallen one disappeared, leaving Issei and the Gremory group alone. Issei, so what are we supposed to do? Rias, well, the first thing would be to find you suitable clothes to wear when you present yourself to the leaders, but we'll have to wait for Ross and Kaneko to arrive. Issei, well, they're already. Everyone what, Issei? Well, they're resting in the rooms over there. Akino, ara, should I call the police? Smiling. Rias, you're evil rapist. Issei, are there any good rapists? How come you always come to the same conclusion? Zai. Unknown location bars. In a bar somewhat hidden from public view, one could see the remains of mangled bodies and blood everywhere. Apparently it was a place of fun for rogue demons, and there were only 3 people alive there. One of them was the bartender, and the other 2 were 2 young men, one with blue hair and the other with black hair, who were playing with a deck of cards. I won. Blue-haired girl, I lost again. Then you'll tell me where Q Academy is, or will you refuse like the others, pointing at the mutilated bodies. Blue-haired, relax, I just came from there, just follow this path and you'll get there. By the way, why do you want to go? I'm looking for Shirenei. Blue-haired girl, I see then, good luck finding your brother, smiling. Thank you, what did you say your last name was? Blue-haired, hehe, Kumagawa, that's him. Yes, thank you very much, Kumagawa-san. Kumagawa, you're welcome, smiling. The danger disappeared, leaving only the blue-haired man who asked the bartender to serve him a drink. The king has been exposed. There were a couple of hours left until the meeting where Issei would be introduced, and of course he was nervous. After all, he would be meeting Michael, who knew his human form and changed the possibility of Gabriel making an appearance. Issei, I think I'll get sick, so I won't be able to go to the meeting. Akino, you look very nervous. Issei, is something wrong? Issei, well yes, but I don't plan to tell you anything unless you tell me what your relationship is with the fallen angel Barak. The dark-haired girl tensed up. The chestnut-tired boy had waited until the others had gone to get ready so he could chat alone with Akino. Akino, he is my father. Issei, you don't have a good relationship with him, do you? Akino, my mother died because of him. Issei, seriously? Akino, yes, we were a happy family, but he wasn't there to protect her. Issei, have you heard his side of the story? Akino, it's not necessary, I just let them kill my mother. Issei, I don't think he's to blame. Besides, it's hatred and resentment that's speaking, not you, Akino. The dark-haired woman glared angrily at the brown-haired man, as she disagreed with his defending Barakwheel. Issei, don't get me wrong, I think you should at least give her the benefit of the doubt. You yourself said they were a happy family. If they were, why would I let that happen? Akino. Issei gave Akino a tight hug, who began to cry. It seemed she was very worried about her father's situation. Issei, I'll tell the others that you'll be a little late to the meeting. Go visit your father. Akino, thank you, Issei. The dark-haired woman kissed him on the lips and quickly disappeared in a magical circle, leaving the chestnut-tired man surprised. Graia, worrying about other people's problems and not your own. Issei, I'm a name that's even lazy when it comes to worrying, and besides, I don't have any problems. Graia, Gabriel. Issei, you didn't have to remind me. Graia, will you be able to pretend to her that everything is alright? Issei, it'll be worth a try, I guess. Graia, you don't have to force yourself, I'll be there for you, blushing. Issei, thank you so much, Graia, smiling. Graia, although I'm still upset about what you did in Kyoto. Issei, are you still going on about that? I've apologized enough, don't you think? Graia, maybe with me and Ophis, but not with Yasaka. Issei, am I in trouble? Graia, you slept with a Nekomata at the house of the Yokai leader who has feelings for you. What do you think? Issei, is great. Graia, you'd better hurry, I'll be waiting for you in the living room so we can leave. The maid left the room, the brunette took a shower, got dressed and went to the living room and turned on the TV to see if anything interesting was happening. News report. In recent news from northern Japan, an individual in some kind of armor with red lights was spotted moving at high speeds. One of our cameramen managed to capture it on camera. News report, it is recommended to stay away from the individual, although we have no reports of damage to establishments or people. Issei, wow, the strangest thing. Graia, are you ready? Issei, yes, then let's go. Underworld. Surzech, I think it's taking a little while. Rias, what's that Bakai-sensei doing? Azazel, let's go calmly, he should be arriving soon. Michael, serious. The leaders of the factions were in the room, including Zeus. Rias was there with her entourage and Sona with her entourage, but especially Saji was there in a very formal suit being held by Sona's hand. It didn't take long before a magic circle appeared from which the chestnut-tired man emerged alongside the maid, who for some reason was blushing. The chestnut-tired man quickly approached and proceeded to greet everyone. Issei, it's a pleasure to meet you all, smiling. Odin, well, when they said we'd be talking to a hollow, I was expecting a monster. No offense, hahaha. Issei, it's not the first time I've been told that. Surzets, well, now that we're all gathered here, I'd appreciate it if you could wait a moment for the Yaokai leader to arrive. Everyone nodded, and the chestnut-tired man took advantage of the moment to approach the Archangel. Michael, it's not possible. Issei, shut your mouth and listen to me. If you dare to say a single word about what happened in the past, you and your little sister will pay dearly. Michael, what are you plotting? Issei, nothing, I just want a peaceful life. They think I'm a vasto lord, and I want it to stay that way. Michael, isn't this a trap? Issei, I'm willing to forget what happened before as long as you don't cause me any trouble. Michael, but Gabriel, Issei, I don't know how you'll convince her, but it's up to you. Take care. After a few minutes, the Yaokai leader arrived, ignoring any attempt by the chestnut-tired boy to speak to her. Azazel, well, now that we're all here, why don't we start the meeting? Surzets, we understand that you managed to easily push back Kaokao. Odin, something to be flattered by. Zeus, but we also have to understand that you had an encounter with the war criminal Aizen Sausuk. Seraphal, is that true? Issei, that's very true. Kawaii Mauyusen. Seraphal, blushing. Issei, the attempt to recruit me. Odin, I see, and why did you refuse? Issei, I'm a simple man who just wants a life without trouble. Surzets, in this time, gathering all the existing factions to face Aizen again is going to be very difficult. Zeus, I don't think so. Besides, we destroyed his weapon of war in our last encounter. Azazel, about that, recently one of my men was attacked by a hollow. Michael, and what does that have to do with anything? Azazel, the hollow that attacked him said he was looking for his brother whom he referred to as Sekiryuutei. For everyone else this had nothing to do with the Aizen issue, but only Issei was very surprised. Odin, don't you think you're getting off topic? Azazel, I'm not finished yet. That hollow then mentioned that we knew him as the White One. Zeus, that's impossible. He died. Odin's, you're right, we were there. Azazel, did we find a body? We can only assume he's dead. Surzets, so the White One is still alive and above all has a brother about whom we know nothing. Seraphal, and we don't know if she is stronger than White himself. Zeus, did that hollow say anything else? Azazel, he mentioned that his father had sent him to find Blanco and especially that he's here in Kyoto. Odin, so Aizen is searching for his creation who survived and is wandering the world. Surzets, and I might be stronger than I was back then. Michael, then it's closer than we think looking at Issei. Are you saying serious? Azazel, in any case, what do you say, Issei? Have you ever heard of or seen that hollow? The chestnut-tired man was still surprised and thoughtful. If everything Azazel said was true, then this meeting was a very bad idea, since at any moment he could appear. Seraphal, Issei, sorry, I was thinking about something else regarding that. I met him a long time ago but only by sight. It's bad to lie. Sekiryuutei, or so I've heard. They all turned towards the source of the voice and saw a young man hanging from the ceiling. He had a blue sword in his hand, a strange tail, and the usual hole in his chest. The surprise was great. That guy slipped into the meeting without making any noise and without being noticed by anyone. Azazel, you're the one who attacked Baraquil, right? Yes, even though we were just chatting, you call it aggressive conversation, or so I read. Odin, you appear to be human, but you are merely a monster. These words did more harm to the chestnut tree than to the intruder, since they are very similar to those the seraph used when betraying him. Oh well, I'm sorry, I've never left Kyoto Mundo before, so I don't really understand human expressions and feelings. Michael, do you want to be like humans? Yes, they are very interesting, although I didn't come here to talk. It's time, Sekiryuutei, we have to go. Father is waiting for us. Azazel, are you referring to the White One? Yep, let's go, brother, time flies, or so humans say, smiling. Everyone was very surprised, except for Michael. The White One was among them. And if he was a hollow, everyone turned to look at the only person who fit their guesses. Issei, things can't get any worse, right? Sighs Rin, please tell Aizen that I don't intend to do anything he says. Rin, I'm sorry, Sekiryuutei, but father told me not to return until you come with me. Surzets, you Issei, you are. Issei, Experiment 1 SS31, also known as White. I am the king of Kyoto Mundo. Upon hearing this statement, everyone present was utterly shocked. Rin, didn't they know? Issei, no, and I was planning to keep it that way. So tell me, Rin, what are you going to do? Rin, I'll force you to go or else I'll kill everyone here, smiling. Issei, you serious? Want to play like this? That's fine by me. In an instant, the chestnut-tired man grabbed Rin's face, and using the Shumpo technique, they both moved outside the mansion and threw Rin to the ground, which created a large crater, but Rin was unharmed. Rin, Sekiryuutei, you've become weak. What happened? Issei, you think so? Everyone present went outside to see what was happening. Rin, that's right, father told me you'd lost your power, that silver-haired woman has it, right? Issei, surprised. Rin, if I kill her you'll regain your power, right? Fine, I'll kill her. Issei, you won't kill anyone. The chestnut-tired man summoned his sword and in a swift movement attacked Rin, but Rin managed to block the blade with his own. Rin, no, Sekiryuutei, remember that you taught me the art of the sword, so I know all your moves. The dark-haired man threw a kick at the chestnut-tired man's ribs under his right arm, and the blow landed squarely on his chestnut-tired opponent, sending him crashing to the ground. With some difficulty, the chestnut-tired man managed to get up. Everyone was watching the confrontation between these two hollows. Issei, please, it works. The chestnut-tired man pointed his sword forward, and a large amount of Riatsu began to emanate from his body. Rin, oh, Sekiryuutei is going to use it. Spectators. Serafal, use it, what will it use? Azazel, the form that releases his power, is a technique of the Shinigami. Sona, isn't it supposed to be a hollow? Odin, don't forget that he is the white one, a being who possesses the power of every known being or even of races we don't know. Graia, Issei worried. Back in the battles. Rin, you shouldn't overdo it, Sekiryuutei. Issei, looking at Graia, now I have people to protect Bankai. Out of control. Issei Bankai, a great curtain of dust rose up, blocking everyone's view. Issei, cutting through the dust with his sword, revealed his appearance, which had changed considerably. He had lost all color from his body. He was completely white, curiously, just as his nickname says. His clothing had also changed. Rin, wow. Sekiryuutei, you look great. Spectators. Surzech, incredible, so that's the power of the Hollow King. Graia, Issei, stop please. Rias, what's wrong, Graia? Graia, he's in danger, he's overstepping his bounds, he's abusing what little power he has left. Odin, the other one, mentioned that his power was sealed within you, is that true? Graia, he is, but help him. Zeus, I don't think it's necessary. Surzech, we'll have to do it anyway, otherwise the other one will take him to Aizen. Azazel, if that happens, we don't know what he'll do with him, considering Issei doesn't want to go with Aizen, it can't be good. Michael, for now let's wait, if things get complicated we'll intervene. Back in the battle. Issei, are you ready? Smiling. Rin, yep, let's begin. They both moved quickly towards each other and their swords clashed, creating a great gust of wind that pushed everyone back. The two swords clashed repeatedly, appearing and disappearing in different places, creating shockwaves. Spectators. Serafal, I can barely follow them with my eyes. Michael, Surzech, prepare a magic circle of containment right there. Surzech, what, confused? Michael, Azazel, on the circle that Surzech makes, add as many light spears as possible around and below it so that when they activate just as he enters the circle, they will pierce through, sealing his movements. Azazel, I see, I understand. Michael, Serafal, use your ice magic and prevent any attempt to leave the circle. I will leave a magic suppression seal. Zeus, they'll set a trap for him, but how will they get him into the circle? Michael, that's the problem, find a way, I'll be back in a moment, I have something to do. Disappearing. Rokuro, Graia, she can do it. Surzech, what, Rokuro? Didraig just told me she can communicate with Issei. This answer left everyone confused, especially the maid. At that moment the boosted gear appeared on Rokuro's arm and he began to speak. Rias, the Red Emperor, surprised. Didraig, listen carefully, only you, Graia, can communicate with Issei at this time. You have his power sealed inside you. Odin, and what does that have to do with anything? Didraig, it's similar to what happened to me being trapped in this and inside Rokuro. Azazel, in short, you can link with him telepathically. Finally, everyone understood what the dragon was trying to say. Didraig, Miss Graia, try channeling Issei's power within yourself so you can communicate with him. The maid nodded and began to concentrate. Little by little, a white light began to spread throughout Graia's arm and her eyes began to change. Everyone was at a loss as to what to do. Graia, this is too much. The maid was held by the Mau Leviathan before she fell to the ground. Serafal, hang in there, you can do it. Back in the battles. The attacks didn't stop. Issei and Rin kept attacking each other, but the king was exceeding his limits. Rin, what's wrong, Sekiryuutei? You look tired. Did you sleep well? Issei, I always conserve energy, smiling. Taking advantage of the fact that the black-haired man had lowered his sword for a second, Issei quickly approached, making a diagonal cut across Rin's chest and finished him off with a kick to his head, causing the dark-haired man to be launched towards the ground, but before impacting it he managed to stop. Rin, where did the brutality and ferocity you once had go, Sekiryuutei? The large cut on his otherwise healthy chest disappeared in an instant as if it had never been there. Rin, oh by the way Sekiryuutei, I managed to master a technique a little smiling. Issei what confused. The dark-haired man raised his sword to the sky, and it began to be surrounded by blue flames. Rin Gatsugati Cho. The large, crescent-shaped burst of power which had a bluish hue was heading directly towards Issei. Issei, not bad but smiling. Rin's attack was about to hit him, but Issei simply raised his hand forward and, moving it horizontally, split the attack in half. Issei, it's not enough, have you forgotten? I was the first to use Getsuga Tencho, smiling. Spectators. Most of them continued watching the battle, but they began to notice something different about Issei. Kaneko, something's wrong with Issei-sensei, his aura has changed. Sona what Saji, oh shit this is bad, it's going to get out of control again, worried. Odin to lose control. Saji, some time ago Ulquirasan asked me to help him because Issei had gone out of control despite wanting to be like a human, his hollow instincts sometimes overwhelm him. Seraphal, hang in there Graia, you can do it. Back in the battle. Issei, on that occasion you just watched my fight and tried to imitate me smiling, and you failed pathetically. Rin, I see his instincts are kicking in, you're wrong, father has chosen me to be the new king of Huko Mundo. Smiling. Issei quickly appeared in front of the black-haired man, and the latter directed his sword towards Issei, but he caught it with his bare hand even though this had caused a large wound on his hand. Paying little attention to the wound, Issei kneed him in the abdomen and, taking advantage of Rin's buckling from the impact, finished him off with an elbow to the back, sending him crashing to the ground. Everyone noticed how a completely unbalanced smile formed on Issei's face. Issei, just give up after all, I never taught you how to use Bankai, smiling. Spectators. Azazel, what are you doing, substitute teacher? Serious. Saji, Rokuro, it would be best if you started doubling your power. Rokuro, you don't even have to say it, activating the boosted gear. Sona, are they stupid? They won't be able to stay away from him. Saji, Ulquirasan taught me something so I could stop him nervous. Back in the battles. Issei, Ren, do you know the difference between a king and his horse? Smiling. Ren confused. Issei, and I'm not talking about nonsense like one's a human and the other's a horse. Or one has 2 legs and the other has 4 legs, laughing and playing with his sword. Ren, it's starting already. The weather began to change and a heavy, eerie atmosphere began to be felt. Issei, skill and power are exactly the same thing. Why then does one become the king and control the battle while the other becomes the horse and carries the king? Everyone was listening to Issei's words. Issei, there's only one answer. Instinct. For 2 identical beings to become more powerful, they need to become king. They must seek out more battles and with them power. Graia, Issei crying. Issei, they thirst for battles and to mercilessly destroy their enemies. Rukoro, I'm ready, Saji. Saji, wait. Issei, but you don't have that. You don't have those basic instincts. You fight with your brain and that doesn't work. That's why you're weaker than me, Rin, a little more Sekiryuutei. Issei, I don't care, Rin. I don't know what Aizen is up to, but I refuse to carry a king who is weaker than me. Michael, Rokuro, Saji, are you ready? Rokuro/Saji, balance breaker. Issei, if you're weaker than me, then I'll destroy you, and I'll take your crown. Issei launched himself to attack Rin, but before he could reach him, he was intercepted by Rokuro and Saji, who struck Issei in the ribs and chin respectively. This caused Issei to back up a few meters. Issei, and what are you guys doing? Rokuro, well, I guess it's to prevent you from doing something stupid. Saji, you should calm down a bit, don't you think? Issei. Saji, Issei, GTSUGATNSHO. Issei's attack took everyone by surprise, but Rokuro was able to react in time. Rokuro, dragon shot. When the 2 techniques made contact, a large trail of smoke rose up. Issei remained vigilant in case of a surprise attack, and so it happened as the Sekiryuutei appeared through the smoke, using Escanor to attack him. Issei, don't be nosy. Issei planned to deflect the sword with his own, but he hadn't counted on Rokuro suddenly stopping and moving to the side, revealing Saji behind him. Saji absorption line. Issei, what surprised? Using Vitra Saji's curse, he managed to tie up Issei, preventing any movement. Issei, damn dragon. Saji, Rokuro, alright, boosted gear gift, touching Saji's shoulder. Didrag transfers. Taking advantage of the power boost Rokuro gave him, Saji, with all his strength and considering that he still had Issei held through the absorption line, pulled him, causing Issei to be thrown meters to the right and fall to the ground unharmed. Issei, that's it. Rokuro, Azazel now. The aforementioned fallen one snapped his fingers and 3 magic circles and spears of light appeared beneath Issei's feet. One of the circles prevented him from leaving, another prevented him from moving, and the last one had placed a seal of power around him. And let's not forget the spears of light that were spinning around him in case he tried anything. Rin, impressive, they caught Sekiryuutei. clapping, but it's too late, he's exceeded his limits and is about to die. Everyone was surprised to hear these words, but when they looked at Issei, he had returned to normal. He looked extremely tired and was spitting blood. Graia Issei og crying. Sagi Azazel removed the seals. Azazel okay. As the seals disappeared, the chestnut tree fell to the ground, breathing heavily. Rokuro shit. For a moment the idea of using the phone the brunette gave her crossed her mind, but her thoughts were interrupted. Rin, if you want to save him, you know what you have to do. Machen smiling. Sagi, that means... Everyone understood what Rin meant, and that didn't seem like a good idea since they didn't know what would happen. Rias, Graia, no. But it was too late, the maid was already next to the chestnut tree. Odin, don't do it. Graia, you have to live, my Issei. Placing her right hand on the chestnut-tired man's chest, she began to react, releasing all the power locked within her, which in a great flash of light entered Issei, and for an instant a hole appeared in his chest. When it was all over, everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. Slowly Issei opened his eyes, seeing Graia crying while hugging his chest. Issei, sighs, I did it again, didn't I? Graia, Issei, hugging him. Rin, alright, phase 1 of the plan complete, I'll take my leave for now. See you later, Shirnei, disappearing. Little by little everyone began to approach the chestnut tree. Azazel, damn, for being so lazy you cause a lot of problems. Issei, would an apology suffice? Azazel, maybe smiling. Odin, you have a lot to explain. Issei, I lose, but now I need a nap. You should be dead. Everyone turned to look at the person who made that comment. Issei, after all this time, is that what you have to say? Disgusting hollow. Issei, I missed you too, Gabriel. Dreams and feelings. Issei, I missed you too, Gabriel. Total silence. Issei, why is there so much silence? Odin, shut up. Around the chestnut tree were Serzech, Odin, Zeus, Seraphal, Michael. Graia, what are they doing? Issei, they want to kill me after all. I am a monster, aren't I, Gabriel? Azazel, hey, don't you think they're exaggerating? Serzech, I remind you that this thing almost destroyed us a while back. Graia, Serzech-sama, please don't. He doesn't intend to do that. Odin, what makes you so sure, woman? Graia, he knew I had his power and yet he didn't try to get it back. Michael, maybe I'm just using you. Azazel, if that were the case, why reject the offer to return to Aizen? Zeus, why are you helping the Hollow so much? Azazel, well, I haven't known him very well, but he saved the Gremory group and especially Yasaka. Once I think we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Yasaka, well, he saved me, and I know he's not bad, so please don't hurt him crying. Everyone was surprised by Yasaka's attitude. Did she really care so much for Issei? Issei, Yasaka. Serzech, sigh, I feel like the bad guy in this situation. I suppose it wouldn't be a bad idea to talk to. What the hell do you think you're doing? That voice sounded very annoying and eerie. When they turned around, they noticed that the voice belonged to a small, dark-haired girl with an empty gaze. Ophis, what the hell do you think you're doing to my slave? Gabriel, Ophis, stay away from him, slowly approaching. Azazel, oh shit. Moving at great speed, Ophis was just centimeters away from piercing Seraphal. Sona Neeson, a sound of torn flesh and broken bones echoed through the place, and a still-beating heart fell to the ground. Ophis, because... Issei, damn, I knew they were territorial, but cough, you're taking it to extremes, vomiting blood. Graia/Yasaka/Akino, Issei. The dark-haired woman pulled her arm away from the chestnut-tired man's chest, and he, almost unconscious, fell forward. Ophis, idiot, why did you interfere, grabbing him? Issei, you idiot, you didn't have to do that. The chestnut-tired man fell completely to the ground, and Ophis was sitting on her own legs with the chestnut-tired man's head in her lap. Ophis, I didn't want them to hurt you, and they would also take you away. Issei, they weren't going to hurt me, cough, besides, I'll stay with you forever. As he said these words, he stroked Ophis's bedside table and fell unconscious. Days later. Dream. Aizen, son, did you know that humans are like parasites? They just keep taking from the planet, killing it slowly. Issei, I have a solution to that. Aizen, really, and what is it? Issei, genocide, random and impartial, fair to rich and poor alike. Aizen, don't you think that's a bit radical, son? Smiling. Issei, extreme situations require extreme measures. Aizen, wouldn't you like to live among them, among humans? Issei, it doesn't benefit us at all in achieving our goal. Aizen, hahaha, yes, but I'd like you to try it, you know, so you can gain experience. Issei, if you say so, I guess it's okay, hey, and mom. Aizen, she fled, you know she doesn't share our vision. Issei, she gave me another name. Aizen, really, and which one? Issei, he said he'll use it in special cases. Aizen thoughtful. Issei it was strange it was. Aizen don't say it's scared. Issei Anu. Issei opened his eyes and quickly sat up from the bed where he was very agitated. Offa is Issei. Hugging him. This managed to calm him down. Feeling the warmth of the dark-haired woman, he returned the hug. Issei, what happened? Gabriel, you ended up unconscious after what happened yesterday. Issei. Total silence. Issei, let me guess you're here to watch over me, Gabriel. Issei, Ophis, do me a favor and tell the others I've woken up. I need to talk to the Seraph. Ophis, no. Issei, don't worry, nothing will happen to me. Smiling at her. The small, dark-haired girl separated from the chestnut-haired boy and proceeded to leave the room. When the sound of the door indicated they were alone, they both looked into each other's eyes. Issei, you can take that serious look off your face now. Gabriel. Issei, I wanted to think that at least the last time we met you'd know what to say. Gabriel, I did what I had to do. Issei, you once told me I had to do what my heart told me to do, then you followed yours. Gabriel, my father's. Issei, your father just wanted me dead, regardless of whether I was good or not. Gabriel. Issei, I threatened his beloved kingdom, that's why he sent you, his most beautiful daughter, to meet me and kill me. Gabriel, that's not true, father didn't even know you and I knew each other. Crying. Issei, for thousands of years now are you still lying? Gabriel, I'm not lying to you, I wanted to be with you but… Issei, you chose the right thing. Gabriel, I had to do it. Issei, I offered you everything, I didn't care if you fell or not, I was always going to be with you. Gabriel. Issei, but you hurt me and I respect you for that, but as they say, what doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. Grim smile. The seraph tensed slightly upon hearing the chestnut-haired man's words. The chestnut-haired man was about to get out of bed, but he couldn't because Gabriel wouldn't allow it, as he sat on his lap. Issei, what do you think you're doing? Gabriel, just let me be like this. The seraph rested her forehead on the chestnut-haired man's shoulder, while her hands caressed his arms and chest. Issei felt Gabriel's caresses and scent and fell asleep, he too resting his head on Gabriel's shoulder. Gabriel, you haven't changed at all. Issei, of course I've changed, I'm more handsome and lazier. Smiling. Gabriel, you idiot, you know that's not what I meant. Laughing. They both laughed together, they both felt a very pleasant sensation. The seraph raised her hand up the chestnut-haired man's neck and it ended at his cheek. Gabriel, Issei. The seraph took Issei by the chin and kissed him. He returned the kiss while hugging her and Gabriel had his hands on his shoulders. Issei felt loved, he felt happy, as if nothing else mattered at that moment, but in the brunette's head appeared those words that tormented him. You're just a disgusting hollow. In an instant the chestnut-haired man was on the other side of the room with his head down. Issei, you sigh, I'm leaving. The chestnut-haired man took his shirt, which was on a nearby chair, and left the room silently without being stopped by the seraph. On the other hand, Gabriel had his head down and tears of joy were falling from his eyes and a beautiful smile formed on his face. Gabriel, I'm going to get you back. With the little situation that had just happened, she knew that he still loved her, and with renewed determination she would prepare to fight anyone for Issei. Human World Hyadu Residence. Dream. It was a very dark place, you could barely see your own hands. Graia didn't know what she was doing there. No matter how much she ran, the darkness had no end, and at that moment a small white sphere appeared in front of her. This small light began to spin around her and then stopped in front of her. Graia touched the light with her index finger, and the whole place lit up quickly. And she saw a few meters ahead of her a being she had never seen before, but she knew who it was. The maid took a step forward. Graia, Issei. The hollow turned his head slightly and the maid could see his face. The hollow placed his sharp arm on the maid's neck and growled, Graia, you won't hurt me, I trust you. The hollow tucked under his arm and brought his face closer to the maid's, slowly until their foreheads touched. Graia hugged the hollow and gave it a tender kiss, but purple chains appeared out of nowhere and attached themselves to the hollow's limbs. Graia, Issei. And then one of those chains pierced the hollow's chest, which offered no resistance, and as if someone were pulling on the chains, the hollow was pulled back and what appeared to be a huge black mouth swallowed it. Graia, Issei, sweating and agitated, was how she had just woken up. Without thinking much she got out of bed, took a shower, got dressed and quickly left for the underworld since she had to see Issei. Underworld. The chestnut-haired man continued walking aimlessly. The demons who passed near him were afraid since he was a vasto lord, or so they believed. A small demon bumped into him and fell to the ground. The chestnut-haired man offered her his hand to help her up. The little girl accepted, thanked him, and they continued on their way. Issei took out a cigarette and sat down near a beautiful lake and looked at his reflection in the water, and saw his true form, the one everyone feared. Issei, what am I doing? I look like an idiot. Azazel, I won't refute that laughing. Issei, to what do I owe your visit? Azazel, well, I was wondering what the Hollow King will do now. Issei, I guess I'll give away the throne. Azazel, hahaha, if that were possible you would have done it before. Issei, I need you to do me a favor. Azazel, and what is that favor? Issei, I need you to take me to the tower. Azazel, hey, are you serious? Serious. Issei, yes, it's about time I got some answers. Unknown locations. Rin, Dad, look what I bought. Aizen, my son, why did you buy a television? Rin, to watch the news like humans, let's see what's good. Turning on the TV. News report. In other news, a few hours ago 2 men were filmed fighting in a shopping center. One of them appeared to be a student who seemed to be attacking with large screws, and the other appeared to be a robot moving at high speeds. Both are being sought by the authorities. You are advised not to go out late at night. Rin, oh, the guy from the other day. Aizen, son, we have to prepare for what's coming, smiling. Living a lie. Dark Tower. Many years had passed and returning to this place was a horrible memory. Azazel, but are you all right? Issei, yes, yes. Azazel, what we're looking for is on the next floor. They both continued walking through the floors of the tower and reached their destination. The room they were in was completely dusty with strewn and crumpled leaves, and there was a large screen in front of them. Azazel, I doubt it's working. This place hasn't been visited in centuries. Issei, Jarvis will never stop working, will it? Indeed, my reserves are at their minimum capacity, but I will be able to sustain myself for a few more years. The screen in front of them lit up along with that voice. Azazel, so this is the Dark Tower's supercomputer. Jarvis, it's a very easy way to simplify who I am, but it's correct. Issei, Jarvis, do I have access to all the files, or did Aizen leave instructions? Jarvis, incorrect, sir, you have free access to all files whether they are hidden or encrypted. Your mother stipulated it to me. Azazel, your mother. Looking at Issei. Issei, but isn't Aizen supposed to be your master? Jarvis, incorrect, sir. My creator was your mother. I was very disappointed that she didn't respond to anyone but you. Issei, then do me the favor of showing me everything related to my birth. Jarvis, as you command, you were born from combinations of the genetic code and power of many species. Azazel, I've tried it before, but that alone doesn't bring life or consciousness. Jarvis, the soul of a Shinigami was used as a base. Issei, it doesn't make any sense. Aizen did all that, so what did mother do? Jarvis, body and soul, most living beings possess both, but you don't. The Shinigami's soul was merely a catalyst, so your mother used and shared her life force. Azazel, he gave part of his own soul to give you life, surprised. Jarvis, she took care of you during the entire time you were unconscious, and when she discovered what Aizen was planning with you, she decided to escape. Issei. Azazel, do you remember her? Issei, they're blurry memories. I don't judge her. She did what she had to do. Jarvis, anything else you'd like to know, sir? Issei, yes, everything related to my abilities and phases. Jarvis, the evils are unknown. We only have a warning of a certain transformation that occurs when mentioning his original name. Azazel, wait, wasn't your original name the White One? Jarvis, incorrect. His name was given by his mother and the biblical god. This statement left both of them completely surprised. They couldn't believe it was true. Issei, that's not possible. Azazel, what is the name given to him? Jarvis, sir, I ask you to refrain from repeating what I am about to say. Issei. Jarvis, his original name is Anung Unrama. Azazel, that name. Jarvis can be translated as child of the world. By saying these words you will enter a transformation that will unleash all your power and drive you mad. After a few hours you will lose all your memories and your power will be sealed inside you. Azazel, that's like Issei, a total reset. Jarvis, your mother's purpose was to give you a new lease on life whenever you wish. Issei, I suppose I should be grateful. Jarvis, are you all right, sir? Issei, yes, I think that's too much information for today. Jarvis, give Azazel full access to everything here. Jarvis, are you sure, sir? Issei, yes, he's trustworthy. Jarvis, as you command, sir. Azazel, what will you do now? Issei, I'll go back to the others. It seems the meeting will start soon. If you want, you can stay. I'll tell them you had things to do. Azazel, well, thank you, since I have many things to discover. The chestnut tree disappeared, leaving Azazel with Jarvis. Azazel, all right, Jarvis, give me all the information you have about Kurosaki Ichigo. Jarvis, as you say. Underworld. All the leaders were seated around a circular table, awaiting the appearance of a certain chestnut-haired man, which didn't take long to appear. Issei, I apologize for the delay. A lady got lost and asked me for directions, so I accompanied her. Zeus, are you coming to a serious meeting where we'll eat? Issei, she gave me a churro for helping her smile. Sirs, we'd better start. The chestnut-tired boy noticed Graia, Yasaka, Akino, Ophis, Kaneko, and Seraphal looking at him with concern. As if he were defenseless, he noticed they wanted to approach him, but they couldn't because of the meeting's setting. Odin, so can you tell us how you survived? Issei, when Aizen teleported me, an old man found me and saved me. He introduced me to Gabriel. They both taught me to appreciate and cherish life until he died, and Gabriel tried to kill me. They thought I was dead, and time passed. Then 2 demons took my power and sealed it, which was passed on to Graia, who returned it to me to save me. That would be the short version. Zeus, so the angels knew that the White One had survived. Michael, no, only Father and Gabriel knew. I found out later when my father made the decision to kill him. Issei, don't worry, Michael, I've already forgiven you, smiling. Sirs, forgive him. Issei, the bearded one sent his daughter to seduce me in order to kill me along with Michael. Gabriel, who was present, heard that like a direct stab to his heart. Michael, that's not true. She had no choice. She even begged our father not to do it. It was your fault from the start. Angry. Odin, let's keep our composure, shall we? We won't gain anything by arguing. Ajuka, then why do you say it's Issei's fault? Michael, if he hadn't conspired with Trihexa, it wouldn't have happened. Sirs, are you referring to the beast of the apocalypse? Michael, yes. All eyes turned to the chestnut-tired man. Issei, what does Trihexa have to do with all this? Michael, you two were planning to join forces and end it all. Issei, wait, what? That's not possible. I never met the beast of the apocalypse. Where did you get the idea that I would join him? Michael, one of our angel troops searching for Aizen's trail, managed to get close enough to overhear that his plan was for you and the beast to destroy the world. Issei, that's not possible. Back then I had severed all ties with Aizen and there was never a plan like that. Surprised. Everything made sense now. Michael's anger, Gabriel's terrible decision, and Issei's supposed betrayal. They were used like chess pieces, mere pawns moved at Aizen's whim. Issei, Aizen, you son of a bitch. Angry. All the leaders became alert, something the brunette didn't understand. When he looked at the girls, he noticed they were looking at him with fear. Odin, calm down, boys. When Issei turned his gaze to his right arm, Jotun, where everyone was staring, he saw how his arm had changed. It was now like a large sword. The chestnut-tired man was surprised and began to stir. He remembered all those people, demons, fallen angels, yokai who died and whose blood is on his arm, beings who were innocent. The seraph left the room crying, followed by Irina to comfort her. A few tears fell to the ground, implying that everything that happened, everything she suffered, was planned and premeditated. Yasaka, Issei. They rushed to the chestnut-tired boy to comfort him, but he had already vanished from the room, leaving everyone with a bad taste in their mouths, knowing that Blanco himself was nothing more than another victim of Aizen's plans. Human World Bar 5 hours later. Bartman, well, kid, I'm available 24 hours a day. I don't mind your presence, but until what time do you plan to keep drinking? Issei, what do you think, that I won't pay you for all the drinks I've ordered? Bartman, it's true you've taken almost half of my entire supply, but I just hope you don't do anything stupid leaving here. Issei, no is too problema. Bartman, maybe not, but I don't like seeing my customers sleeping on the street. Issei, just pour me another drink. Bartman, Issei, what are you waiting for? Don't worry, sir, go on with your business, I'll take care of this. The chestnut-tired man turned his head and saw that the voice belonged to the Vitra wielder. He sat down next to Issei and asked the bartender for a short drink. Saji, well, until what time do you plan to take refuge in alcohol? Issei, I suppose that for a few centuries wouldn't be so bad, smiling. Saji, and that makes it harder for you to face your past. Issei, did you know I have the power to forget everything and start over, Saji, and escape? I don't think you're that cowardly. Issei, you'd be surprised. They both laughed together, but the half-blonde managed to convince the brunette to leave the bar and they decided to chat while wandering aimlessly. Saji, from what you just told me, your mother loved you very much, right? Issei, in his own way, but if... Saji, well then, I don't think she wants a cowardly son. Issei, I suppose you're right. While they continued talking, the chestnut-tired man stopped, while Saji continued talking to himself until he noticed. Saji, is something wrong? Issei, no, it's nothing, smiling. Saji, you still seem dizzy. Issei, hahaha, and what about you? How are things going with Sona? Saji, sighs, very well, but it's still awkward. Issei, and why is that? Don't you like Sona? Saji, quite the opposite, I'm very much in love with her, but I don't like the way things happened. Issei, explain yourself. Saji, you know I wanted to make her fall in love with me like a normal couple. I wanted to spend time with her. Time we both enjoyed spending together for her to fall in love with me for who I am and then challenge her to a game of chess and make things official. I didn't want everything to be decided out of nowhere by a simple game. Issei, well now you can make her fall in love with you, right? Saji, yes, and that's why I'm motivated. Looking at his watch, I'm running late for a contract. I have to go, see you later, Issei. He left using a magic circle, leaving Issei smiling. Issei, well, Lenteshin. What will you do now that you've heard from your fiancé how he would have liked things to be? Smiling. From around a corner, the student council president appeared silently, her face covered in a very noticeable blush. Issei, I didn't think a person's face could be so red, laughing. Sona, you did it on purpose, you knew I was listening. Issei, yeah, don't you think you should go talk to him right away? Sona, yes, and thank you for that, but you also need to get home quickly because they're waiting for you. Issei, me, Sona, if you have 7 women who are very worried about you. Issei, wait, 7. Sona, Graifiasan, Yasuka-sama, Aiknasan, Konkachan, Ophis, Kuroka, and even my sister Serafal. Issei, sighed, and why? Sona, they didn't explain it well, but apparently they all had a dream that had to do with you. They were worried. And then you disappeared at the meeting, made it worse. Issei, so I have problems, damn size. Sona, I'm leaving, I have things to do, blushing. Issei, me too. The dark-haired woman disappeared, and the chestnut-haired man decided to head home despite the problems. He stood in front of the door, threw away the cigarette butt from his mouth, stepped on it, and opened the door. Unknown locations. Aizen, where do you plan to go, son? Rin, well, let's surprise Shirnei. Besides, Tongo has something to do right now. Hours later. In the middle of a somewhat withered forest, 2 hollows could be seen digging, and the chestnut tree's younger brother. Rin, great, I feel like I'm in a horror movie, smiling. The hollows who were still digging stopped when they heard, and realized they had hit something hard. They looked at each other, and began to pull out the object, which was nothing more than a coffin. Rin approached and opened it and smiled when she saw what was inside. Beside the sarcophagus, one could see a gravestone that read, "Rest in peace, Kurosaki Ichigo." Rin, because burying a coffin, if it's empty it doesn't make sense, or did the body go out for a walk? I guess Halloween is real, smiling. Peace, Hayadu residence. It was just dawn, and Issei, who was sitting in the middle of his bed, was very flushed, but he was trying to hide it, and the reason was obvious. Around him were 7 beautiful women still asleep and naked. Issei, how could it end up like this, blushing? Do you regret it? The chestnut-haired man noticed that the voice was coming from under the sheets, moving between the chestnut-haired man's legs until very close. The person revealed their face. Ophis, because I'm not sorry, smiling. Issei, you shouldn't. Ophis, why do you say that? Issei, don't you think it's heavy? Ophis, it seems you've forgotten you're my slave. Besides, it's been a long time since I've been interested in anyone, and every woman in this bed wanted to be with you because one way or another, they all want you. Issei, I barely knew Mao Leviathan. Ophis, you saved his life and flirted with him at the meeting. Issei, sighs, I have to go to the academy. I'm already looking at the clock. Great, I'm 3 hours late. Ophis, maybe I should transfer to Kyoto Academy. Issei, you're kidding, right? Changing. Ophis, hey. Issei, yes, Ophis, we love you. Hearing those words after so long made him freeze, and his face turned bright red, which was not appreciated by Ophis since he disappeared. Kyoto Academy. Director, so you're the new transfer student. Yep, director, I see, then I'll put you in a class. Thank you very much, smiling. Classroom. Sona, this time it's taking too long. Rias, smiling. Sona, you look very happy, Rias. Rias, oh, it's just that Rokuro and I. Sona, you and him, confused. Rias, we. Did they have hex? Rias, wow, surprised. Both of them turned to see who owned the voice. It was the chestnut-haired man. Rias, you didn't have to say it like that. Issei, but they didn't. Rias, eyes blushing. Sona, Roman 2, guess that's okay since they're engaged. Issei, congratulations, clapping. Rias, don't say it so loud, I don't want anyone to hear. Issei, too late, pointing at the other students. All the other students in the classroom stared at Rias in surprise. Rias, very flushed. Sona, sigh with your shirt untucked, sleeves rolled up, tie loose, and a tired face. Is this how you show up to the academy? Issei, if it's any consolation, at least I tried, walking towards his desk. Upon arriving at his seat, he took out a book and opened it with great care. With this, most of the students had regained hope that they would finally have classes. After opening the book, he sat down, placing his feet on the desk, leaning his head back against the chair, and holding the book to his face, simply saying, "Go through the book." Students, he'll be slacking off again. Resigned, the students did as the teacher instructed, but the class was interrupted when a student knocked on the door. May I come in? Issei, sissy half asleep. The chestnut-tired man answered without even looking at the student, as he was still focused on trying to sleep. Issei, you are? I'm a transfer student. Issei, okay, introduce yourself and you can sit down. The chestnut-tired boy didn't notice that the redhead and the student council president were very surprised and angry. I'm a transfer student, what else should I say? Issei, your name alone will be enough. As you say, Shirenei. Issei surprised, I'm Rin, just Rin smiling. The chestnut tree stood up in an instant, very surprised. Issei, we can talk outside, student Rin serious. Rin, of course, Shirenei. The two left the classroom, leaving the other students confused. After a few minutes they arrived at the back of the academy where they stood face to face. Issei, so what are you doing here? Rin, to convince you to return to Huko Mondo. Issei, I won't return, so I'll give up and come back. Rin, I won't do it until you return. Besides, it could be interesting. Father told me I couldn't harm anyone in your circle, so I'll use traps. Issei, traps, size anyway, let's go back to the classroom. After that, the day passed in complete tranquility, if we disregard the fact that Rin kept insisting on returning to Huko Mondo. The next day, the chestnut-tired boy was calmly heading towards the academy when he ran into Saji and Rokuro, so the three of them left together. Upon entering, right next to a tree, they saw a beautiful blue-haired loli wearing a shirt that said, I want to have hex with Hayao Is. This left Rokuro and Saji very confused, who could only manage to say damn your luck. But Issei just had an annoyed face since he had noticed that right above the girl there was a cage held by a rope. The three of them saw Rin behind the tree wearing black glasses and a hat that said FBI. The chestnut-tired man moved a little closer and a smile appeared on the dark-haired man's face. Rin, that's it, take the bait. Issei, I won't deny she's cute, but I don't want to have relations with a piece of wood. Rin, Shirenei is very clever, laughing. Issei, stop using your powers at the academy, you're causing me problems. Rin, Shirenei is very intelligent. The first one snapped his fingers and the supposed loli disappeared, leaving only a wooden log. Issei, could the three of you come with me, I have something to tell you. Rin, Saji and Rokuro all nodded and followed the brunette to a bar in town. They went inside and sat down at a table. Issei, I won't beat around the bush, what I wanted to tell you is that I can no longer use my powers. Saji, what, Rin? Rokuro, are you serious? Issei, yes, to be exact, my body hasn't yet assimilated the rest of the power I recovered, and that's why I can't use it. Saji, if you put it that way, it makes sense. Rokuro, your brother doesn't seem very surprised. Issei, looking at Rin. Rin, father told me when you regain your power you won't be able to use it until the second requirement is met. Saji, second requirement. Rin, yep, there are two requirements you have to meet for Shirenei to complete the mission father gave him. Rokuro, and what are they? Rin, the first and most important thing is that Shirenei has his full power, and the second is that Shirenei knows every basic human emotion. Issei, the first one has already been fulfilled, drinking. Rokuro, but the second one I'd say it's already happened. Rin, nope, father said that one emotion was missing and that the seraph would help with that. Saji, Gabriel, that's right, you didn't get around to clearing things up with her. Issei, that's another thing I wanted to mention, she seems to be missing. Not even Michael knows where she is, I need your help to find her. Rokuro, no problem, but how would Gabriel help with what Aizen wanted? Saji, hate, I suppose it's the last emotion missing since Gabriel supposedly betrayed you, even though it was all his plan. He wanted that emotion to grow, and he didn't count on everything becoming clear. Issei, I came to the same conclusion. Rokuro, so I failed, but I want to know why your dear brother is listening to all this, isn't he supposed to be our enemy? Rin, I'm the villain, muhahaha. Issei, it's better this way than him snooping around, besides I don't like his traps. Saji, by the way, changing the subject, Vitra, just told me that you have a strong scent of a certain goddess of infinity. Issei. Rokuro, wait, her and you're insane, Hayao. Rin, why do you say that? Rokuro, well, the dragon goddess of infinity is a child. Rin, looking at Issei, if he reaches 12, do I risk my sentence? Issei, no, wait, where do you get so much nonsense from? Rin, internet and memes. Issei, size, she's not a child, you know she's older than me by a lot, and yes, I did it with her drinking. While the group of four continued drinking peacefully, the dark-haired man began to look around. Saji, is something wrong? Rin, they're here. Rokuro, who? Issei, Shinigami, seriously. Immediately afterwards, the four were surrounded by a huge number of Shinigami. Issei, so what's the reason for this grand visit? Kurosaki Ichigo, does that name ring a bell? Issei, yes, what is the reason for the question, Miss Shinigami? Issei, weight, short stature, black hair, firm character, so you're Rukia. Rukia, do you know me? Issei, the old man told me about you, you're one of those who abandoned him, smiling. Rukia, is he okay? Issei, he's dead, if it's any consolation, he left without remorse and without hatred. Rukia. Issei, I doubt they came here just to ask me this. Rukia, two great dragons, the white and his brother, reunited sounds like something dangerous. Saji, relax, we're not plotting anything. Rukia, and what about him pointing at Rin, wasn't he supposed to be an enemy? Issei, more than an enemy, I'd say he's a double agent. Rukia will be watching you, Blanco. The dark-haired woman turned to leave but was stopped by the voice of the chestnut-haired man. Issei, she's a good friend despite everything, I forgive her since she's very special to me, those were the old man's last words. Rukia was crying even though her back was turned, the brunette noticed. Rukia, thank you. And so all the Shinigami left. Rokuro, that was intense. Issei, looking at the bartender, it seems you're already used to this. Bartender, you have no idea, smiling. The four of them left the bar calmly and decided to go to their respective homes, since even though it was midday, they wouldn't be stupid enough to go to the academy smelling of liquor. The chestnut-haired man walks thoughtfully about the matter of the seraph. He wanted to apologize, but he knew that now it would be more complicated. Issei, I need a vacation. And so, heading home, Issei didn't notice the presence of a group of people on the roof of a building. Hey, is Shinji there? Shinji, yes, it's him, we found him, guys, he's the target. Destination. After drinking with the others, Issei headed home, but he knew something was wrong, something just wasn't right. He glanced towards a jewelry store out of curiosity, approached it, and for a moment saw people on top of a building reflected in the glass. Issei, maybe it was just my imagination. Continuing on his way, he thought of some way to stop Aizen, since the chestnut-haired man knew that he was careful when planning his moves. Issei, I have to see Gabriel, but in my current state, understand. Issei, thoughtful. Ashiroten. Issei, surprised. The chestnut-haired man turned in surprise toward the source of the voice, and saw a young woman in a white suit with orange gloves and boots, and striking green hair. Issei, he mistook me for someone else. I haven't mistaken him. Issei, if he did, he mistook me for someone else. Shinji said you're Shiroten. Issei. Shinji, Mashiro, what have I told you about ruining surprises? Issei, looking at the blonde boy, I must assume you're Shinji. Shinji, correct. Beside Shinji stood a girl, wearing a red sweater and with a grumpy expression. Issei, I owe a visit from the famous wizards. Total silence. Shinji, Aizen. Issei, what about him? Shinji, I need you to guide us to him. Issei, I regret to inform you that I no longer work with Aizen. Shinji, but you can still take us to him. Issei, do you see me with a radar face? Girl with few friends, no idiot, we can locate him through your Ryatsu. Issei, okay, thanks for the explanation, you foul-mouthed little girl. Hiyori, my name is Hiyori, you idiot. Issei, so how are we going to do that? Hiyori, no, I ignore you. Shinji, you seem very helpful, I doubt you're helping us out of the goodness of your heart. Issei, partly yes, but I also need help finding someone. Hayadu residence hours later. Issei, hello, is anyone there? Graia, Issei, is something wrong, why aren't you at the academy? Kuroka, and why do you smell like alcohol? Issei, long story, I need all of you to go to the underworld, I'll go with some acquaintances and Shinigami in search of Aizen. Ophis, and what makes you think we won't go with you? Yasaka, when will you understand that we will always stay with you? Akino, or perhaps you don't love us. Issei, not even someone like me can ignore a group of such beautiful women for long, smiling. Seraphal, does that mean we have a chance? The chestnut-haired boy turned his back on the girls because he knew he wouldn't be able to hide his blush. Issei, they've always had it blushing. Kaneko, and where will the confrontation take place? Issei, I told them not to come with me. Graia, we're not asking for your permission, we're going with you. Issei, smiling, I knew you'd say no, but I won't leave you a choice, go to the underworld. Kuroka, what Ophis, don't do it. Issei Sonido. In an instant, the chestnut-haired man was gone. There wasn't even the slightest trace of his Ryatsu. Gregory base. Azazel, are you sure? Both Rias and Sona are going to be furious if they find out. Rokuro, we know, but still we decided to support the sensei. Saji, I also owe him a lot personally. Azazel, even so, take these. Surzech sent them to you, they are phoenix tears. Saji Bayan. Rokuro, by the way, Issei still hasn't arrived. And as if summoned by his words, the chestnut tree appeared and fell to its knees. Azazel, speaking of the devil. Saji, hey Hyaldu, are you okay? Issei, yes. Saji, are you sure what you did was right? Issei. Flashback. Shinji, okay, I'll have them look for her. Issei, thank you, now we need people for what comes next. Hiyori, hey, aren't you going to tell him? Looking at Shinji. Issei, tell me what? Shinji, I don't want you to take anyone close to you into battle. Issei, I know Aizen will try to attack them to hurt me, but they are strong. Shinji, I don't mean that the problem will be if you hurt them. Issei. Shinji, we don't know, somehow I managed to use them against you. We're talking, Sasuke, we have to be careful. End of flashback. The leader of the wizards approached the chestnut tree calmly. Shinji, despite being deprived of all your abilities, you forced yourself to use a high-level technique. Issei, if you're going to call me an idiot, just do it. Shinji, smiling, putting that aside, I told the guys to look for her, but they couldn't find her anywhere. Issei, Tusk, where the hell have you gone? Gabriel. Rukuro, maybe he's playing hide-and-seek. Saji, it's not funny. Rokuro, I just wanted to improve the atmosphere. Issei, Shinji, do you know the ancient forest to the north? Shinji, are you sure it's there? Issei, definitely not, but it's my last option. Shinji, it's okay, touching Issei's shoulder, endure it. Thus they both disappeared, leaving only Azazel, Rokuro, Saji, the rest of the Visards, and a moderate number of Shinigami. Ancient forest. The chestnut-tired man, who looked very tired, told the blonde man to wait while he looked for the seraph. He walked for a few minutes until he reached a lake he already knew, and right on the shore was her, just like the first time he saw her. Approaching slowly, the chestnut-tired man kept watching her. She continued to gaze at the lake, oblivious to her surroundings. The chestnut tree stood beside her and sat on the ground, causing the seraph to react. Issei, don't you think you should let me know since I'm carrying it? Gabriel, if I didn't warn you, it's because I didn't want to be found. Issei, not even for me. Gabriel, you're the last person I wanted to find me, although I'm glad you did, smiling. Issei, I never lose at hide-and-seek, although you know this time it's not a game. Gabriel, I know, and I wanted to apologize for everything. Issei, I'm the one who should apologize. Anger was consuming me, that's why I reacted like that. Besides, this was all one of Aizen's tricks, so don't apologize. I wanted to. Gabriel, did you want to? Issei, well, let's try again, of course, only if you want to. Gabriel, laughing. Issei, what's so funny? Embarrassed. Gabriel, the great white, the blushing hollow king, I never thought I'd see him. Issei, averting his gaze. Gabriel, yes, I want to be with you. Issei, thank you. Gabriel, why? Issei, for accepting me just as I am. The seraph approached the chestnut-tired man and kissed him. He returned the kiss. It was a tender kiss without lust. When they parted, Gabriel embraced the chestnut-tired man. Issei, I need you to go to the underworld and silence the others, especially Rias and Sona, since I assume they know about Rokuro and Saji. Gabriel, and where will you go? Issei, I have to end this problem once and for all. Gabriel, okay. Issei, I thought you'd object. Gabriel, I was going to do it, but I know what you'd say. Issei. Gabriel, but you have to promise me that you'll come back with us. Issei, us? Gabriel, yep, with me and the other girls. Did you think I didn't know? Issei, sigh to attempt it. The chestnut-tired man kissed Gabriel on the forehead and withdrew. The seraph, using a magic circle, disappeared. Hours later. Issei, so how do you plan to locate Aizen through my Reiatsu? Shinji, Aizen is intelligent. It's very likely he's planted some kind of radar in you to detect any changes that happen to you. We'll use that radar to trace it back to its origin. Rokuro, and how will they do that? Hiyori, will destabilize his Reiatsu so the signal received by Aizen will be strong enough for us to sense it. Issei, sounds simple. Shinji, I won't lie to you, it will be very painful. You'll feel like your bones are being broken over and over again. Issei, I would have preferred you to lie. Shinji, Vitra, use your absorption line on Issei so his Reiatsu won't escape, and will go directly to Aizen's location. Everything was ready. The chestnut-tired man was tied to the absorption line and all the wizards surrounded him. Shinji, are you ready? Issei, wait, give me a few minutes. Wizards, when? Issei, Gaahhhhhh. The chestnut-tired man writhed in pain on the ground. His body kept moving abruptly at times as if he were convulsing. Love, it's not working. Hiyori, we have to push it harder. Shinji, okay, let's do it. Wizards, when? Issei, Aahhhhhhhhh. A great amount of Riatsu from the chestnut-tired man began to envelop him like a cloak and shot up into the sky, creating a gust of wind. At that very moment they sensed the chestnut-tired man's Riatsu, but it wasn't coming from anywhere in the human world. Rokuro sensei estabayan, Issei yes kuf yes. Shinji, we have the location, he's. Issei, damn it, he's in the underworld. Azazel, we need to go quickly. I'll warn Surzech and Michael. Underworld. Rin, father, they're coming this way. Aizen, I know, son. Rin, you are free now. Also free, Aizen. Yes, son, you can do whatever you want. Rin, I see. At that moment, a large number of demons, fallen angels, and Shinigami appeared alongside Rokuro, Saji the Wizards, and Issei. Rin, if I can do whatever you want then. The dark-haired man moved quickly to the side of the chestnut-tired man. Rin, then you'll face them together. This took the chestnut-tired man by surprise, who only managed a small smile. Aizen, having to face my children is very painful, but do you really think you can do anything to me? Just behind Aizen, a large black mouth opened, from which emerged a great number of Ajuches, Menos, and some Vasto Lord. Shinji, we've waited a long time for this, we won't hesitate. Rokuro/Saji balance breaker, Rin unsheathing her sword. The chestnut-tired man, with what little power he could use, managed to summon his sword. Issei, now. Thus, Rokuro and Issei focused on the Ajuches, the demons, fallen angels, and other angels on the smaller ones, Rin and the Visards on the Vasto Lords, and Issei on Aizen. The chestnut-tired man attacked relentlessly, leaving no openings for Aizen, but Aizen remained calm, blocking each attack with his Zanpakuda. Aizen, son, you still haven't accepted your destiny. Issei, shut up. Aizen, you have to understand that you can't escape him. Issei Kweti calls, GTSUGATNSHO. The great burst of power was heading towards Aizen, who simply dodged it. Aizen, you're in a very deplorable state. Son, how do you intend to defeat him like this? Issei, who knows, besides, you can't kill me since we need me for your so-called evolution. Aizen, that's true, but that doesn't mean I can't immobilize you, snapping his fingers. Upon doing this, a large number of purple chains emerged from the ground with the sole purpose of trapping Issei, who began to evade them as quickly as possible. Aizen, if you focus on the chains, you're not paying attention to me attacking from behind. Issei, damn it. The chains trapped Issei, preventing any attempt to escape and dragging him to the ground. Aizen, Issei, was this your plan? You thought you'd come with just a few soldiers, 2 dragons, and the Vizards. Will you accomplish anything? Issei, yes, and we did it. Aizen, what do you mean? Issei, we wanted time for the others to arrive. In the middle of the battlefield, a great magic circle formed from which emerged the Maois, Azazel, Michael, Yasaka, Odin, Zeus, along with many Yaokai soldiers, Asgardians, and Spartans. And there were also the Citri clan and the Gremory clan Ophis, Gabriel, Graia, Aquino, Kaneko, Kuroka, Seraphal, and the aforementioned Yasaka. Azazel, I apologize for the delay, it took a while to bring you all here smiling. Aizen, I didn't think you would put them in danger. Issei, that was my goal, but it's not like they're going to listen to me smiling. Ophis, I'll say it only once, Sausuk, let go of our Is. Aizen. Issei, we have something you'll never have, unity. Aizen. Issei, I admit you lost, Aizen. Aizen, you think they'll save you. You trust them a lot, don't you think? Issei, if I trust them, why do they love me? Each of them smiled at the chestnut-tired man's words. Issei, and because I love them too, smiling. The chains that bound the chestnut tree disappeared. Aizen, congratulations, son, applauding. Issei. Aizen, last requirement completed, wake up, my son. Issei, what are you doing? A hole appeared in the chestnut tree's chest. Graia, Issei. The chestnut-tired man was motionless, his eyes had lost their color, and a white aura began to envelop him until he looked like a sphere that shone intensely. Aizen, did you think the last feeling he had yet to experience was resentment or hatred? No, the last was love. He never fully knew that feeling, but thanks to everything becoming clear, and with your help, ladies, he was able to forgive out of love and continue with it. Gabriel, Issei, worried. Aizen, you were always the missing spark. The white sphere shattered like glass, and from it emerged he had completely lost his human form. Aizen, fulfill your destiny, my son. Issei, the Hollow King. Issei, It was unnecessary to clarify that there was no trace of emotion in the brunette's eyes. He was simply there, intently observing each of his enemies. Rin, Shirnei, I'm happy you accepted your power, but isn't father supposed to be the enemy? Issei. Yasaka, Issei, Ophis, don't come any closer, I'll take care of it. Before she could finish her sentence, Issei was already right in front of Ophis with one arm raised to attack her, and he would have been if it weren't for Rin, who managed to react in time and block the attack with his sword at the last second, causing only a small wound on Ophis's shoulder. Issei, GGGRRAA. Rin quickly kicked the brunette in the chest, making him stumble back. Rin, we have to leave, this situation is bad. Shinji, we won't leave until we've finished off Sasuke. Ophis, and we're not leaving without Issei. Aizen, I recommend a strategic retreat, smiling. Shinji, you're a bastard. Issei aahhhh. The chestnut tree pointed its two horns forward and a small white sphere formed between them. Azazel, everyone get out of here. Yasaka, Issei. The magic circles were already formed, but the little dark-haired girl wasn't about to leave. Ophis, snap out of it, please come back crying. Issei GGGRRRAA, Rin, Ray 0. The dark-haired man began using the same attack to try and counter it. When both attacks were launched and impacted, they created such a shockwave that everything within the blast radius disintegrated as if it were dust. Surzach, this is incredible, such power exists. Surprised. Issei AARRRRGGG. Issei began charging the same attack as if it were infinite. Azazel, hey, can you repel it again? Rin, no, panting, the previous one took almost all of my Rigatsu. Shinji, shit, it's over, attack to kill. Graia, what are you doing? It's Issei. Hiyori, in case you didn't notice, he wants to kill us, we can't stop ourselves. Rin, here he comes, not so fast. Just before the chestnut-haired man unleashed that devastating power, he was struck in the back, deflecting the attack's trajectory. Michael, that's Rokuro, volley Lucifer, volley, hey Rokuro. Why didn't you tell me you were going to face someone so strong, smiling? But he wasn't the only one who had arrived. Kaokao, stop joking around, volley, this is serious. Saji, Kaokao, it won't surprise you if we want to prove that humans are better than supernatural beings. Defeating the white one will prove us right. Volley, well, so this is the famous Hollow King. At this point, old enemies would be necessary to counter this threat. Azazel, our situation is improving, but we're still in bad shape. Rokuro, I need you to get me some time. Michael, what are you talking about? Rokuro, I can get support, but I need time. Azazel, how much? Rokuro, as much as possible, leaving. Saji, let's hope it's worth it. Aizen, leave him alone, it's useless. With every attempt to stop him, he learns and improves. Ophis, you shut up. The little black-haired girl exploded in anger, a purple aura began to surround her. It was stupidly atrocious and powerful, even Aizen began to get scared. Ophis, you think you can do whatever you want with my Issei. Raising his arm, he began to charge a powerful attack. Ophis, you treat things and people like they're yours. I'll destroy you and bring Issei back. Releasing such power, he headed towards Aizen with incredible speed. It was obvious he wouldn't be able to dodge it. But a smile appeared on his face, and in the next instant the chestnut-haired man appeared in front of Aizen, and as if he were a simple leaf, cut the attack in half. And for some reason, Ophis fell to her knees, exhausted. Aizen, for a moment you managed to frighten me, but in your human form your power is diminished besides. The cut my son made was small, but enough for Samuel's poison to enter your body. Ophis, Samuel's poison. Aizen, any weapon of my son and his blood completely imbued with it when I created him, I combined his blood with Samuel's, resulting in a more potent poison. It won't be enough to kill you, but it will prevent you from interfering. Issei. Aizen, if you want to kill me, you'll have to kill him first, smiling. Azazel, well, there's no other option, we'll have to go all in. Saji Suspirosi. Volley, smiling. Rin, let's bring Shirnei back. Kaokao, it's time to demonstrate the superiority of humans. Yasaka, we will support it too. Shinji, well, it seems there are no objections, let's bring in that stupid substitute teacher. Azazel, balance breaker. Saji, Vritra promotion. Volley, balance breaker. Surzech, Rias, Sona, you two focus on attacking the hollows. Yasukadono, Serafal, and Michael will attack Aizen. The Vizards, Kaokao and his group, Volley, Azazel, Saji, and Rin stop Issei. Yasaka, but Michael, I know you're worried about him, but only this way can we face them. Surzach, you'd better get some rest. Ophis, I won't leave, but I'll try not to get in the way, serious. Azazel, alright, it's time. Each group went to their designated place, the battle had begun. Issei was about to use Zero again, but he was quickly stopped by Saji, who wrapped himself around Issei like a snake. Saji, it won't last long. Saji released the chestnut-haired boy who, due to the force, spun like a top. Before he could stop, Kaokao stretched out his true Longinus, impacting Issei's abdomen and sending him crashing into a nearby building. Azazel, take this. Azazel appeared meters in front of the chestnut-tired boy and threw the spear he held in his hand with such force that when it hit Issei, it sent him crashing through the entire building. Rin Getsuga Tensho, the dark-haired man, attacked from behind, sending Issei flying when he was hit. And just before Volley recovered, he took advantage, attacking from above to grab him by the neck and send him plummeting to the ground, slamming him against it. Volley all yours, wizards. Shinji, now guys. Using Shunpo, all the wizards appeared around Issei. They transferred all their Ryatsu to their Zanpakutos, and they embedded these at each specific point to restrict any movement or attempt to escape, but Issei resisted by raising his Ryatsu. Volley divide. Half of Issei's power went directly to Volley, causing him to spit blood and his armor to shatter. Volley, such a massive amount of power, cough, it's incredible that it exists, smiling. With this, the chestnut tree, completely unable to move. Azazel, he may possess great power, but a lack of combat experience doesn't make him invincible. Issei GGGGRRRR. Azazel, are you alright, Volley? Volley, I think so. Apparently, Volley wasn't the only one affected. Saji lost his Vritra transformation and also fell to his knees, panting. Rin, are you alright, Vritrikun? Saji, cough, the moment I caught him, he managed to hurt me, panting. Azazel, you'd better not move. We managed to contain him, so rest. Shinji to Aizen. Meanwhile, Aizen was being cornered by the leaders. Surzets, it's over, you've got Issei trapped and you have nowhere to escape. Aizen, this situation, doesn't it bring back memories? Smiling. Michael, it's the same as that time. Aizen, exactly, but with the sole difference that you are the ones who are finished. Yasaka, what Issei, hhhhhhyyyyyyy. The wizards who were still holding their Zanpakutos, which were embedded in Issei's body, upon hearing the scream, moved away from him, freeing him. Azazel, what are you doing? Love, he just UGGH. Shinji, he just disturbed our inner hollows. Hiyori, she wants to make us lose control. AAHHGG, Seraphal, what have you done to them? Aizen, you have to understand that it's like a bee colony, everyone obeys the queen, but in this case the king. Shinji and his group are trying to prevent their hollows from emerging since they were summoned by their king. The chestnut-tired boy got back up and in an instant was facing Azazel, whom he attacked with a knee to the abdomen. The blow caused Azazel to lose concentration, and Issei finished him off with a zero. Issei GGGGRRRRRRA. Ophis, powerless to witness all this, could only observe intently, searching for any weakness. Volley, in this case I'll have no other option but to use him. Kaokao, I suppose I'll use it too. Just then Kaokao felt a hand on his shoulder. Move, it will take care of it. He didn't even have to turn around to see who it was, as they walked right past him, and there were two of them. A tall guy with light blue hair and another with dark hair and a serious expression. Only Azazel, Rias, Sona, and their respective entourages recognized one of them. On the other hand, Aizen managed to recognize both of them. Saji, you guys surprised? Rokuro, I did it. Kaokao, Sekiryuutei, who are they? Saji, they are Ulquira and Grimja. Rokuro, it seems Issei-sensei was prepared for something like this. Flashback. Issei, don't worry, oh right, here he throws her a cell phone. Rokuro, and this. Issei, there are only 2 numbers on that phone, I trust you know when to use it. Rokuro, how will I know when the time is right? Issei, Drake will explain everything soon, you'd better hurry, your mistress is looking for you. End of flashback. Rokuro, the numbers belong to Ulquirasin and Grimja. Michael, are they friends or enemies? Surzech, don't worry, they're allies. Aizen, but look who we have here, the deserters, annoyed. Grimjao, shut your mouth, we didn't come here to chat. Ulquira, Rin, it's been a whiles. Rin, Ulquina, how have you been? Ulquira, what have I told you about calling me that? Grimjao, hey you idiot, what do you think you're doing? Stop this nonsense or we'll beat you to a pulp. Issei. Issei, GGGYYYAHHH. Ulquira, it seems he won't listen to reason. Grimjao, in that case we don't have to hold back. They both began to release a large amount of Ryatsu. Ulquira, Resurrection, second stage. Grimjao, Trichera, Pantera. Both had entered their liberated forms without hesitation. Azazel, who was barely recovering from the attack, decided to stay out of it. Aizen, do it, son, show them your true power. To everyone's surprise, the chestnut-tired man uttered words they couldn't understand, and a huge explosion engulfed him. As the smoke began to dissipate, Issei's new appearance was revealed. Ophis, it's not possible, surprised. Issei GGGGRRRR. Graia Issei. Ulquira's, here we go. They both quickly moved to attack the chestnut-tired man, who remained impassive in his place. Ulquira, summoning his lightning spear, launched himself at Issei. The sound of their weapons clashing was loud, both attacking without leaving room to think. Issei managed to push Ulquira back by kicking him in the back. Grimmjow seized the opportunity to attack. Grimmjow Great King Zero, Issei, Jjjjrr. The clash of both techniques was powerful, but this didn't stop Issei, who moved in front of Grimmjow and sent him crashing to the ground. The brown-haired boy also descended and ran towards the blue-haired boy, but he hadn't counted on the maid's appearance, who intervened. Graia, Issei, please come back, crying. The chestnut-haired man stopped suddenly and stared at the maid. Issei. Graia, Issei. The chestnut-haired man shook his head as if he were confused or stunned, but the strange moment didn't last long as Grimmjow continued the attack. Grimmjow, don't interfere, woman. He launched a kick at the chestnut-haired man's ribs, who took the full impact. Graia, wait, he's in there, don't hurt him. Grimmjow, what are you talking about? Graia, he recognized me for a moment. I felt it. Grimmjow, you're not serious, are you? Ulquira, leave her alone, Grimmjow, I noticed it too. Grimmjow, so the plan is to sweet-talk her. Ulquira, let's try to tire him out, woman, are you sure you can make him come back? Graia, just let me call the others, together we can bring him back. Grimmjow, whatever. The chestnut tree rose from the rubble with a loud cry. The two rushed towards the chestnut-haired man and intended to strike him with their fists, but Issei was faster. He grabbed both of their wrists and made them hit each other, then jumped back and launched a seer. From the trail of smoke that had risen, Grimmjow was seen with his elbow pointed towards Issei. From him came 6 darts at high speed aimed at the chestnut-haired man. Issei was about to evade them using sound, but Ulquira intercepted him from behind and prevented his escape by placing a spear against his neck. Each of the darts pierced his body, but without caring too much, he freed himself and grabbed Ulquira by the neck, lifting him up. Grimmjow, don't forget me, you idiot. The kick the blue-haired boy threw at the brown-haired boy was taken by Ulquira, as Issei used him as a shield. Grimmjow Tusk, on the other hand, Aizen, despite being cornered, kept laughing. Aizen, you should go and support them, don't worry, I won't move from here, besides he snuck in to finish this. Smiling. Graia, Yasuka-sama, Seraful-sama, I need you to accompany me, it's about Issei. Sirzets, don't worry, we'll keep Sasuke in check. Back with Issei, he was growling and unleashing bursts of power against the two Rancor. Grimmjow, damn, it leaves no openings to attack. Ulquira, this is getting complicated. The blue-haired man noticed that the maid was already with the others. Grimmjow, they're ready now, Ulquiras. Ulquira, I have an ideas. Grimmjow, it's stupid, isn't it? Ulquira, it will work, or so I think. While they were talking, the chestnut tree slowly approached them. Grimmjow, that's going to hurt. Ulquira, there is no other way. And so the fight continued. Once more everyone watched. It was incredible to see them fight. In a swift movement, Issei grabbed them both by the neck and lifted them up. Grimmjow, og damn, Ulquira Anno. With one hand they grabbed the chestnut-haired man's wrist, and using all their strength with the other, they pushed him to the ground, holding him by the shoulder. Issei kept trying to break free from the grip, which made things even more difficult for Grimmjow and Ulquira, but luckily for them, Rin grabbed Issei's legs, making the situation easier. Grimmjow, now woman, there's not much time. All the girls approached the chestnut-haired boy who was still resisting. Issei jjjrrra. Ophis, Issei, look at me, you don't have to do this. Please, Issei jjjya. Yasaka will stay with you, but please stop. Issei jjjrr. With each word from the girls, the brunette calmed down. Do you remember what I told you back then? Most turned their gaze towards the source of the voice, and there was Seraphim. Issei. Gabriel, you're not doing this because you want to, are you? Issei, no. Gabriel, this isn't what you want, none of us are afraid of you. Issei, I don't want this. Gabriel, is this what you want? Issei, no. Gabriel, don't you have a dream? What is it? Smiling. Issei fifi yo. Issei happy. Issei hero happy. Issei yo happy. Issei, I want to be happy. Graia, stay with us and you can be happy. Kuroka, stay with us and we'll make you happy for all eternity. Gabriel, will you let us make you happy? Issei SSS. Girls welcome Issei, smiling and crying. Ulquira, Grimmjow, and Rin freed Issei from their grip. He slowly got up, approached the girls, and stroked their hair. Aizen, NOOO. It shouldn't end like this. You must destroy them, that's why I created you, to destroy the world. Ulquira, your idea of making him aware of human feelings was your downfall. Aizen, QUEE. Gabriel, once you taste even a hint of happiness, it's impossible not to want to feel it again. If you wanted a weapon, you should never have given it feelings. Aizen, you bastards. In an instant, the chestnut-haired man appeared before Aizen and grabbed him by the neck. Aizen, you're going to kill me, your father, go on do it, and show me what you really are, Issei. Aizen, what are you waiting for? Issei was going to do it, but those words crossed his mind. Being just is not about knowing when to take a life, but when to forgive it. Issei yo ti perdono. Aizen, what, Issei, but still you have to pay for your crimes. Aizen no. Kyoto City Bar. Azazel Aizen Sasuke, an S-rank criminal, was sentenced to death by the Soul Society. Azazel, Saji was cured of Samel's poison, and months later he married Sona Citri in one of the most spectacular weddings in the underworld. Azazel, Rokuro continued his rivalry with Vali and formalized his relationships with the girls in the club. Bartender cleaning some glasses. Azazel, the Vizards were reintegrated into Soul Society, with the exception of Mashiro, who decided to focus on her relationship with Rin Hyaodu. Azazel, mysteriously, Rizvim appeared badly wounded at the gates of heaven, and both the seal and the beast of the apocalypse were found dead. Bartender listening attentively. Azazel, the Arankar known as Ulquira and Grimjow, continued with their lives, the former with a human woman named Inao, and the latter with the Valkyrie Rossweisse. Bartender, and what about him? Azazel, since then we don't know much, and what little we do know we owe to Yasaka. Barmans. Azazel, Issei and the girls are somewhere in the world living a peaceful life. Issei has regained his humanity, consciousness, and feelings, but not his human form. Azazel, therefore, the throne of Huko Mundo remains empty. Bartender, it wasn't a bad ending after all, smiling. Azazel, you should go see him. Bartender, I don't think it's necessary. Azazel, it is for him knowing that his mentor and friend Kurosaki Ichigo is alive would make him very happy. Ichigo, bartender, I suppose you're right, smiling. Legend tells of a being destined to destroy the world, but he was saved and able to choose his path, a king who learned to appreciate life, a king who was saved by love. Ending unlocked. Creating my destiny. Good ending. Select next ending. Final neutral, final bad, future already written. Issei Graia is. Sasuke approached the brunette until he was standing in front of him. Aizen, very well, my son, now show them the marvelous power you will unleash upon the world. Aizen, Issei, I'll do that, father, I'll do that. The chestnut-tired man's arm was embedded in Aizen's chest, right over his heart. Aizen, because you it shouldn't be like this, cough. Issei, you wanted to be the savior of the world when I devastated it, but I can't allow it. Aizen NNO. Issei, the path to salvation ends. Aizen's lifeless body fell to the pavement. No one could believe it was so unexpected. Ophis and Aizen. The chestnut-tired man turned towards the leaders who were watching him with great caution. Issei, what are you waiting for? You won't attack me. Yasaka, Issei, are you all right? Approaching. The Yokai leader was stopped by Surzech to prevent her from getting any closer to Issei. Yasaka, Surzech. Azazel, that's not Issei. Graia, what, Seraphal, what are you talking about? Michael, what have you done with Issei? I can no longer sense his power. Issei, I am Issei, the one you knew as Issei, was me with unnecessary feelings. Seraphal, unnecessary feelings. Issei, yes, like compassion, kindness, and love. Ophis NNO, that's not true, you wouldn't do that. Issei, the talk is over. The chestnut-tired man uttered words unintelligible to everyone, and a great explosion engulfed him. And this revealed the chestnut's new appearance. Yasaka, Issei, don't do it. Issei, I will leave this world in flames, I will cover it with seas of blood, and only then, when the fittest have survived, will I have fulfilled my mission. Michael, we can't allow that, we won't let you. Graia, we will defeat you as in the past and save you. Issei, save me, you don't have to, in fact, it would be better if you saved yourselves. Azazel, what? Launching a zero at high speeds, the group didn't know how to avoid the impact. But two beings stood before them. One was a winged black-haired being and the other was a blue-haired being with long hair and a tail, and both countered the attack. Azazel, what the hell? Saji, Ulquira, Grimjow, Yasaka, who are they? Rokuro, they're Issei-sensei's friends, he gave me a cell phone with their numbers on it. I just had to call them to come over. Ulquira, although it took us a little while. Ophis, you can bring Issei back. Grimjow, oh, the goddess of infinity, worried about a hollow. Ophis. Ulquira, enough, Grimjow. Graia, will you help us? Ulquira, we will try. Issei, it's been a while, guys. Grimjow, yeah, and what do you think you're doing? Do you want us to spank your ass for doing stupid things? Ulquira, we don't want to hurt you. Issei, really? Well, you'll have to, otherwise I'll pay a visit to that girl named Oriheim. Ulquira, are you serious? Grimjow, not even I mess with her, don't say we gave you a chance, annoyed. Issei, those looks, I can finally see the hatred in their eyes smiling, show me what you can do. As he said that, the chestnut-haired man swung his sword, causing a great gust of wind. Ulquira, we're not going to hold back. Grimjow, of course not, Surzets, we will support them. Issei, no, you guys won't get involved in this. The wizards appeared before the group, their masks active, staring murderously at the others. Michael, what do you think they're doing? Issei, they are obeying their king's orders, smiling. Alpha, is Issei crying? The battle between Issei and Ulquira and Grimjow had already begun. The advantage was obvious. Not even the two of them in their released forms could stand up to Issei. Taking advantage of Ulquira's distraction, the chestnut-haired man kicked him away and appeared in front of Grimjow, making a very deep diagonal cut across his chest, causing him to lose his released form. Issei, you've improved, but it's not enough. Grimjow, cough, you son of a bitch. On the other hand, Ulquira tried to attack Issei at that moment, but Issei blocked the attack, making him retreat. Issei, Ulquira is finished. Summoning his lightning spear, he thought to attack the chestnut-haired man, but the man appeared in front of him and with his bare hand shattered the spear. This caused a smokescreen which, when it cleared, revealed a large cut on the dark-haired man, who also fell to the ground. Ulquira, I won't let you hurt him. Issei, don't worry, I won't do anything to that human. But as for you, Grimjow, I can't let you die, smiling. On the other hand, the battle between the leaders and the others against the wizards was going badly. For some reason, they were incredibly powerful. Azazel could only deduce that Issei had empowered the hollows within them. Not even with the help of Vali and Kaokao, who joined the battle, could they match them. And the situation worsened when Ulquira grabbed Michael by the neck and slammed him to the ground, while Grimjow launched a Zero at the demons, leaving them badly injured. Vali, weren't they supposed to be allies? Issei, yes they were, but now they're with me. Sir, that's shit. Issei, Grimjow, go to heaven, kill the weak and let the strong live, then do the same on Olympus. Grimjow, ha 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 ha, it's time to have some fun, disappearing. Michael, you bastard, I thought we could save you, but no. Issei, Ulquira, you do the same in Asgard and the other kingdoms and factions. Ulquira, whatever Issei-sama says, disappearing. Issei, okay, and what will you do now? Azazel, you really were a monster after all, attacking. Issei dodged the blow and slammed him to the ground. Azazel, ag. The chestnut-haired man placed a foot on Azazel's head and, pointing his horns at him, said a Zero. Issei, you have my respect, Azazel. When only the fittest remain, I hope someone will remember you. Azazel, heh, I hope so, smiling. BBBBOOMMs. The massive explosion released by the Zero created a huge plume of smoke, so thick that no one could see each other, but screams could be heard, many screams. When the trail disappeared, the scene had changed drastically. None of the young demons, with the exception of Ophis, Michael, Surzets, Yasaka, Graia, and Seraphal. The entire floor was covered in blood, as was the chestnut tree's sword. Surzets, Rias, you bastard, Issei shhhh. The chestnut-haired man appeared behind Surzets, his sword embedded in his chest. Surzets, cough. Issei, you know, at first I thought they would be a challenge. Surzets, damned monster, cough. Issei, humans, mythological and supernatural beings. When I tried to classify them, I realized they aren't mammals, waving his sword. Surzets, og. Issei, you move to an area and multiply until you've depleted all the natural resources. Surzets, cough cough, panting. Issei, and the only option to survive is to move to another area. Graia, Issei, crying. Issei, in this world there is another organism that follows the same pattern. Do you know which one it is? Surzets, vomiting blood. Issei, it's the virus. You are a disease, the cancer of this planet, a plague, and I am the cure. Drawing his sword from his chest, Surzets, the chestnut-haired man, grabbed him by the neck and threw him at the feet of the wizards. Issei, half of you go to the underworld and show them what I did to their leader, the other half go to the human world and destroy everything you see. Wizards, nodding his head. Issei, as for you, Rin. Rin, I'm sorry, Shirnei, but I don't intend to obey you. In a swift movement, the chestnut-haired man grabbed the dark-haired man by the neck and threw him. Before he could hit the ground, he appeared above him and dropped down, slamming him against the ground. Rin, ag. I won't, Shirnei. Issei, no, Rin, you just have to follow your darkest instincts. Saying this, Issei placed the tip of his sword against Rin's chest. Rin's eyes changed to a light blue and a maniacal smile formed on his face. Issei, take a group of Vasto Lords and go to the Soul Society. I don't want any survivors. One more thing, kill Gabriel, and that woman named Oriheim. Rin as you wish, Shirnei. Smiling, the chestnut-tired man approached Yasaka, who was kneeling and crying. Yasaka, because I thought you loved us, crying. Issei, yes, I loved them, I remember loving them, but it's nothing more than that, a simple memory. Yasaka, Issei, no. The Yaokai leader couldn't finish speaking, her head had been severed. Issei, I don't even feel anything when I see you dead. The chestnut-tired man turned towards Michael, Graia, Seraphol, and Ophis. The Archangel stood before the girls, ready to defend them. Issei, you really think you can protect them from me? Smiling. Maybe not him, but I wills. Everyone turned their gaze towards that voice. No one recognized him, except the chestnut-tired man. Issei, this is a surprise. I didn't think I'd see you again, especially since you were dead, old man. Ichigo, I thought it was time to intervene. Issei, I understand, then I recommend you start with your best attack, smiling. Issei began charging a zero in his index finger, pointing it at Ichigo. Ichigo Getsuga, Issei too slow appearing behind him. Boommm. Issei, you're taking me for granted, old man, even at your peak, you're not entertaining me, laughing. Ichigo Ag, that zero was ridiculously powerful. What? They kept clashing their swords, disappearing and reappearing in different places, but Ichigo was the first to lose his rhythm, something Issei didn't miss the opportunity to do, embedding his sword in the orange-haired boy's shoulder. Ichigo, Ag, you're better than this, Issei. Issei, stop being sentimental. With one kick, he sent Ichigo crashing to the pavement. Issei, you should have destroyed me when you had the chance, old man, smiling. Ichigo, I didn't think you'd take this path, standing up. Issei, it was inevitable. Ichigo, I didn't want it to come to this, but you've left me no choice. Issei, surprised me, old man, smiling. Ichigo Sajo Getsuga Tensho. Issei, that form, hahaha, you're a box of surprises. Laughing. Ichigo, I really thought you could change, they thought so too. Issei, that's a shame. Ichigo, it's over. Issei, what are you waiting for? Ichigo, Mugetsu Sky and Moon. Launching such a devastating attack that the chestnut tree, which was hit directly, was met with a great cloud of smoke rising up. Ichigo panting. Ophis, he defeated him, surprised. Michael, I don't sense his presence, finally it's over. Graia Issei. Ichigo, Issei, I did it, is that what you were going to say? Ichigo, what? Surprised. This took everyone by surprise when they turned their gaze towards the place where the voice came from. They saw him, it was Issei, but his form was not the same. Michael, it's not possible, scared. Ophis, I don't sense anything coming from Issei, nothing, surprised. Ichigo, but what, surprised and confused? Issei, why are you making that face, don't you recognize me? Ichigo, that form. Issei, I told you start with your best attack. Ichigo, damn it. Issei gazed towards the horizon, then raised his sword and a kind of white fire began to surround him. Issei, that's the nearest demon citadel, right? Ichigo, that's the technique I just used, don't do it. Issei Mangetsu full moon. He dropped his arm in a straight line, and just like Ichigo's technique, a great line of devastating power destroyed everything in its path. Issei, it was fun, but it's over. He walked until he was standing in front of the orangey-haired man, left his sword embedded in the ground, grabbed him by the neck with one hand and lifted him up. Ichigo trying to break free. Issei, this time without resurrections. In his free hand, Issei had charged a zero into his index finger and released it into Ichigo's chest. Throwing away the lifeless body of the redhead, I noticed that those who survived had escaped, with the exception of Ophis. Issei, I suppose you're next to face me. Ophis. Issei, as you wish. Taking his sword, he walked over to little Ophis, who was kneeling on the ground, still crying. Issei, take some comfort in the fact that you tried everything to save me. Issei raised his sword, intending to decapitate the goddess of infinity, but before he could, an object traveling at great speed tried to pierce him. He dodged it, footsteps were heard in the distance, drawing the attention of Issei and Ophis. Damn, I thought I'd win the bet against Speedster-kun, but no. Issei. Ophis surprised, because I can never win. Issei, and who are you? Who knows, but you do know why I've come. Issei smiling. Underworld 1 week later. Demon, according to the report, humanity has lost more than 2/3 of its population. Zeus and Odin were killed by the Arankar. Each faction suffered terrible losses. Soul Society is almost unrecognizable with few survivors, as are the Yauk. Demon, in the battle against White, the leaders Azazel and Surzech died, as did Rias, Gremory, and Sona Citri with their retinues. As for the Hollow King, He was sealed within his sword by a man about whom we know little according to the dragon goddess Ophis. She has no memory of the battle or how, or what power that man used to seal the Hollow King. Somehow the Sekiryuutei, Hakuryuko, the wielder of Vritra, and Kaokao returned to life. The man only left a warning. You have 1,000 years to find a way to face him. I already intervened more than I should have, and I fulfilled the bet. Demon, regarding the subjects of the Hollow King, the Vizards, the Arankar Ulquira, Grimjow, and the younger brother Rin Haodu took the sword where the white is sealed. We assume they are in Huko Mundo awaiting the resurrection of their king. Sarah Yorg, is that all, Demon? Yes, that concludes the report. Ajuka, too many lives have been lost retiring. Sarah Yorg, we have to prepare leaving. Thor, regarding the mysterious man, we know nothing about him. Demon, just a drawing made from the description given by the goddess of infinity, Ophis. Thor, show it. Demon, if ending unlocked. Inescapable destiny. Bad endings. Achievement unlocked. Visitor from another world. Next final. Neutral endings.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.